Yeah, I don't either.
There we
I
go.
think I
It's
also
gonna
only know it.
start recording my crotch.
What if these things can read our minds?
This is a safe sex zone.
Simple, beautiful fish.
Good night, campers.
Turn on, tune in, talk movies. Welcome to the Video Cult.
Okay, ready?
Well, just want to start off to say to our guests and to my co-hosts, you're welcome for this motion picture. It has everything.
The full package.
Nazis,
Got him.
incest,
Got it.
Santa,
Got it. A lot of Santa. Multiple Santas.
multiple
Yeah.
Santas, cocaine.
Yes.
Which a lot of cocaine for which is alarming for the salary of a mall Santa.
Well, okay, I know what it cost at one time in reality. I don't know what it cost back then. But I mean, hey, he was just laying out a couple Bobby Browns. Sometimes you got to do the thick line.
I mean, it is the season to make it snow.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously not to get too far into it. There's a bit of preamble we're going to do and talk about the movie, and I've got some facts. But what is, other than this now, obviously, what was your one go-to Christmas movie? What was you have to watch it, maybe it's coming up on your list. What is your go-to?
Well, I've got a couple. I actually had a whole tradition of Christmas specials growing up, and for anyone watching, I'd just like to say, welcome to the Video Cult Christmas special, holiday special. I'm Nathan. This is Gabby. That's Josh.
I'm bad at intros.
Yeah. he just can't wait. He just can't wait to talk about this.
I'm so jazzed, and I just assume we're so popular. Everybody already
Everyone
knows
us. Yeah,
I'm just feeding them
Yeah.
like old garbage if I say our names.
And I feel like for listeners who also watch the cult meetings on YouTube, like they know what we look like, but
Oh, this could be the first time some of you freaks see what we look like.
we look exactly how we sound.
It's true.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think, and especially with like the vast picture we've painted for people of our strange personal lives since it's really worked. As you can see, we're all in Christmas garb, wildly different Christmas things. We have Elf on the Shelf, who is contemplating suicide, got the arms through, not sure if they want to commit yet. We're all having a drink.
What are we drinking?
I got some gin.
Just some
Straight gin. Yeah.
It's that kind of movie. I don't know what you want.
It is. I'm drinking a Aperol Spritz because for me, Aperol Spritzes aren't really a summer drink. They're more of like a nice Christmassy drink.
Yeah, need something to like refresh you from the indoor heat.
It's also something
dry indoor heat.
It's also something to refresh me during Christmas with the family, because then like I can just keep pounding those back. And I feel so refreshed.
Yeah.
Gabby has 16 conservative uncles that she has to have Christmas dinner with.
Exactly.
It's wild.
It is.
It's wild.
It is.
They're all far too liberal for her.
Yeah.
Fucking cucks.
Yeah, those cucks.
It's back. I'm bringing it back.
Bring it back. Yeah.
And I'm classic rum and eggnog, but a bit of fucking nutmeg on there, a little bit of cinnamon. I can spruce that right up.
I enjoyed too because you were so careful with the nutmeg. It was a beautiful little pinch. It was a little dusting, and then when you got to the cinnamon, he kind of did it. And you just like.
Oh, the cinnamon was cinnamon was chaos.
Yeah.
I was like, it's enough.
It's like the what was it, the cinnamon challenge back when?
Oh yeah,
YouTube was still in
back
its,
when
like,
there was
infancy.
internet challenge time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd eat a spoonful of cinnamon and try to eat it, or like take 10 saltines and try to eat them all at once. And it was just like, oh, let's see if we can make this blonde girl cough a bunch of shit all over a kitchen counter. That was that era of the internet.
Yeah.
So Christmas
traditions.
movies. Yes.
Yeah.
Christmas movies, Christmas traditions doesn't have to be just the one. We can get into a bit of this. Let's get it.
So the one that is most near and dear to my heart that we always used to watch on Christmas Eve was the 1953 black and white Alistair Sims Christmas Carol.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's just a classic, well done interpretation, and it's in just the most beautiful black and white that you'll ever see. It's so it just gets you right in the feels. Also, like the Blackadder Christmas Carol, watch that one every year.
I've never watched any Blackadder.
Have you not?
People do say good things about it.
Oh, I love Blackadder. Yeah, and the Blackadder Christmas Carol, of course, is just a goof on that. And the last one is the 1966 animated Grinch. I don't know how anyone could say anything bad about it, quite frankly. It's
true, yeah.
It's like 20 minutes,
yeah,
too. It's
like 18 minutes. How are you going to be mad at it?
Yeah. So those are mine, and they're all... I do watch Die Hard, but more so that Christmas reminds me of Die Hard. Not that I consider it a Christmas movie. People do, and I'm totally okay with that, but that's one that I think about more at Christmas. I'm like, oh yeah, I should watch that again. So that one makes the rotation every year or two.
Yep.
Oh, we're going down the line.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So I usually watch, your standard Christmas movies like The Christmas Story, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and all that stuff. Nothing too special. But what I started doing is every year I would watch the 1970s Black Christmas.
Oh yeah, great movie.
I love it. It's one of my favorite ones. You have Margot Kidder playing a complete drunk. I love her. And then Olivia Hussey, I think her name is.
She's the main actress.
Yeah, she's
and then you get one of the women from Greece, who I don't remember that actress's name.
Yes,
the one who goes to beauty school in Greece, but I don't remember her name.
I don't think so. I think it's
not?
no. She's from SCTV. She's Canadian.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, they kind of got a similar look.
They do. They've got the curly hair and all that stuff. Yeah. But no, I always watch that. And then last year, I think I remember I would watch all three movies. So the Black Christmas, the second Black Christmas remake, the first Black Christmas remake, and then the second Black Christmas remake.
I haven't seen that one.
It's lazy.
Yeah, it's like a PG-13 horror or something, isn't it? Yeah.
I think it was released during a time when it was like, okay, girl power. That's the deal, which is great. I love girl power movies, but
hates women.
It hates. Yeah, that's what I said. I keep saying, and a bunch of things. If I were born a male, I would probably be an incel hating woman with a 4chan account.
Weird thing to admit about yourself. Just like, hey, it's got a vagina, put it in the latrine.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's for some reason every time I maybe it's because I'm white, and once I have like a microphone in front of me, I have to start spewing like, cuck, fuck women, ugh.
You definitely took a break from it.
Make America great again.
Christmas is bringing it back out again.
It is. I mean,
it's a joyful season.
Yeah. And, like if for people who maybe cut out some family members who are too right wing, I can fill that void.
Actually, just waiting for your turn.
Yeah.
I was like, look, I filled out most of the sign up for Fox News. I just got it. Like, give me the word. I'll hit the button. I'll start watching it.
Yep.
I would say I definitely watch all of those things as well. Definitely usually get into the first Black Christmas.
Yeah.
The stuff you're talking about. I'm definitely a Rankin and Bass.
Okay.
Like claymation, Rudolph and stuff. That shit's always hilarious to me.
I watched that as a kid and then I fell out of it. I should watch those again because I haven't seen them in like 20 years.
They are slow. Like don't put it on late at night or make sure you're planning on doing something afterwards or do something during because there is like a slowness to them. And honestly, the Rudolph one's probably the only one I really go back to. And I mean, I don't have cable anymore. During the era of catching the Snow Miser one, which I don't know if that's the town that saved the year with no Santa Claus or what. I don't know which one that is. It's like there's the aspects of it that stand up more to me than what the actual plot was. But yeah, definitely Rankin and Bass, Rudolph, Christmas Vacation.
Oh,
I forgot to
that's
mention that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I also
that
forgot to mention
Definitely
that's
do
on
that.
there.
And then, you always watch Die Hard on Christmas Eve is always like a big one for me. But I don't know if there's any other like really weird, strange ones. You guys kind of filled in all of my history. It was like, oh, no one has a unique experience ever, apparently.
No.
But this movie, I did attempt to watch the first. Well, I did watch it years ago. So I've mentioned before on the podcast, I used to start around September 15th, try to watch as many horror movies as possible, coming up on October 31st. And the year that I got to 124, I tried to chase that dragon by then watching as many weird Christmas movies as I could. So, and those... It gets dark. They're not as well made. There's not you can't go from peak to low as quickly when you only have it's like, okay, well, I got Black Christmas, I've got Silent Night, Deadly Night, and then nothing else. Everything else is like made on $10 and shot on a potato. So got into a really weird dark period there with that. But I did end up watching Elves, and what I remembered of it meant it was a good movie for this podcast. What I didn't remember of it was also a good movie for this podcast, but I brought a lot of food and things for off camera to assuage the problems of this movie.
Yeah. We've also been tucking back a couple
we've
drinks.
already been drinking, yeah. I was tempted to mix the drink on camera, but then people would see how much I poured.
It was an enthusiastic pour.
Yeah, poured with my heart.
You did.
So
and it grew 3 sizes.
yeah, I think that is what drinking does, and that's what it ends people quickly. It's the heart and the head. The head starts getting big, not to speak ill of the dead, but Ray Liotta at the end of his life, that man, that he grew 3 sizes in total. Like, it was a lot.
I'm sorry, cultist, but when I thought of like Ray Liotta, especially his brain, I thought of the scene from Hannibal.
Oh, where he eats his own brain?
Yeah, and I was like, damn, he'd have a lot of leftovers.
Oh yeah, good. Packing that up in the tinfoil. Gonna take that shit off, microwave that shit. Yeah. Did Hannibal ever microwave anything? Do you think Hannibal ever had to
No.
He's an oven heating up man. If he has leftovers,
if at all, it might be that he just only makes those really small dishes for rich people, where it's like, okay, you get this little medallion of meat and then a line of sauce that is an arrow pointing to it that you drag the meat through.
He definitely is the savor kind of type where he has already planned out his portion sizes. He knows exactly what he wants. I can never see him being that sloppy.
No, I would feel like he would give it to his guests. Like, here, take it home with you. Put it in your filthy microwave.
Yeah.
So, I think we should get into it. Yeah. I do have some facts and things surrounding the movie, but I think, especially with where things start, it will come out organically.
Okay.
So let's kick it off. Let's get into the movie proper. Now, I will preface, and you will immediately learn, this was a movie that I stole from the internet because it's impossible to find. We could have watched it free on YouTube, but then we quite possibly would have deprived ourselves of the VHS rip that I found that had the fucking trailers off the top.
Oh yeah.
So let's get into what we first see.
Yeah. So the movie doesn't start. I mean, it starts with the beautiful FBI warning that I knew and loved as a child, and I still got a little nostalgic, little teary-eyed about it. And but then we get quite possibly a trailer for a movie that we might have to do in the future called Alien Seed.
The controversial.
Yeah. They desperately want this to be controversial. I don't know how controversial it was even in the 90s. However, the tagline of "They invaded our planet. They violate our women. Can they be stopped?"
Because it's like when you see that trailer, it's like boobies, like tits are like full display.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
a movie trailer.
There's boobs in the trailer.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, is this like supposed to be like a closed off section where no kids are supposed to be able
you have to go through
in?
the beaded curtain at the back of the rental place.
But yeah.
So it's the trailers, there's 2 trailers on it, and it's all for this production company AIP, Action International Pictures. I'm trying to find my phone, like scrambling for my phone over here.
Did you guys feel like when you saw the trailer for Alien Seed, you saw the whole movie?
Yes.
Because I felt like I was just like, and they're like,
Absolutely.
they introduced this character. Oh, there's the shot of her getting shot in the head.
Yeah.
Oh, and then this new character comes in. Okay.
They showed the shot of her getting shot in the head 5 times.
Yeah.
Because who is it? Eric Estrada?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Eric Estrada is like some bad guy, and they repeat this like
Agent
close-up
Stone.
shot of
Yeah.
him just
Yeah.
blow this girl away multiple times.
Yeah.
I was like, is he in more of the movie? Like, it might be only that. I think he popped up a bit, but Action International Pictures that's David Winter's production company. So these are the same people that made Space Mutiny.
Oh.
So it's sort of like Canon, but like if Canon like lived in the gutter and did meth, like,
Oh my God.
it's just so it's surprisingly lesser than Canon. And I do have a list of all of their movies, and I'm gonna run through some of these because you're gonna notice a theme with some of these titles. But again, like the posters are all gold. The plots all sound great. I would imagine most of them are not worth watching. There's a couple that I think might be something we do, like you said, Alien Seed. So we have Phoenix the Warrior, Elves, of course. Our movie, Space Mutiny, Deadly Prey, Teenage Exorcist, Raw Nerve, Double Threat, Man Killers, Future Force, Deadly Manor, Who Done It? Who Done It? With a question mark. Death House, Future Zone, Rage to Kill, The Bounty Hunter, Cyber Chick, but it's like C.H.I.C. So she's clearly some sort of robot cop who looks cool. Got some big hair. Striker, Maria Mirabella, which is their one kids movie that's also a musical, so God knows what's up there. Rapid Fire, The Revenger, The Lost Platoon, Eye of the Snake, Alien Space Avenger, Firehead, Invasion Force, Born Killer, Center of the Web, Death Chase, Hell on the Battleground, Mission Kill, Jungle Assault. Most of these came out like between 86 and 92, by the way. Like they were pumping them out.
Oh my
That's
God.
prolific. Yeah.
Codename Vengeance, Night Wars, Miami Golem, like a golem,
Like
I'll
from
read-
the Jewish myth.
Yeah, a
of-
Miami TV reporter is sent to a local university to do a story on a professor who is cloning a cell from DNA found inside a meteorite. Soon after the reporter leaves, a gunman kills everyone in the professor's wealthy lab and steals it kills everyone in the professor's lab and steals the cell for a wealthy something. It trails off.
So-
I get an ellipses after that.
Oh, I love the ellipses.
Operation Warzone, Night of the Kick Fighters, The Last Ride, Eternal
Is it just like
Fist.
so Night of the Kick Fighters? Is that like the Jets versus the Sharks, but they're all doing Irish dancing?
I hope so. Which is funny. David Winters was in West Side Story. That was like his
What?
big thing. He was
What?
in West Side Story and then became a producer.
Oh my God.
Eternal Fist, The Final Sanction, 2002, The Rape of Eden,
Jesus.
Deadly Reactor, Fatal Skies, Maximum Breakout, Last Flight to Hell, Alien Seed, as we know about, Cop Out, Dead End City, Lock and Load, Brutal Fury, Project Vampire, White Fury, That's Action, which is an hour and 17 minutes of just their trailers that they released on VHS.
No.
What?
You can't do
God.
that.
Actor Robert Culp introduces trailers for scenes from movies from Action International Pictures. It's an hour and 17 minutes of just their trailers. Bootleg, Sudden Thunder, Street Hits, Miami Beach Cops, Tales of the Unknown, Order of the Eagle, Victor 1, I Was a Teenage Merman, and Ex-Cop.
I was gonna say One Eternity Later because like that is so those are
It was
really
all
made,
63 movies that that company
all
ever
63
released.
movies. So were those movies exclusively made from like 1988 to like
94 looked to be the latest, but most of them seem to be 87 to 91.
So-
like there was like almost.
Did they have like a
10 years.
did they have like a sweatshop of like writers and directors and
Oh,
actors?
for sure. They're probably doing the Roger Corman thing where it's like they finish early and then you got the set, you just bust out another movie. Like Roger
Yeah.
Corman did that a bunch of times. I think
Yeah.
when they made Strip to Kill, he was like, well, we got the strip club set. Let's just do another movie. They made another movie on the same set.
So, I was shocked to see Eric Estrada in Alien Seed because
Yes.
like we know him from Chips and also this maybe
Surreal Life, was it?
yeah, but also if I can find it or if I ever break down and pay for it, Cool Cat.
Cool Cat.
Cool Cat saves the kids.
Oh, I do know. Like it's animated, isn't it?
No, it's live
okay,
action.
So I don't know what this is at all.
I can't. Cultist, I'm so sorry. I took 2 reactants right off the bat, so my brain's a little fuzzy.
Alcohol, drugs,
Yeah.
incest. It's Christmas, baby.
It is Christmas. It sounds like a regular Hill family Christmas, minus the incest.
All
But
right.
I do have a joke. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Eric Estrada.
Eric Estrada who?
Eric Estrada from Chips. That's from Mandy, that Nick Cage movie.
Is it? I don't remember
He-
that.
he's-
part.
he-
I only
I saw that movie. I
movie
do not
once.
remember
Yeah.
that part.
That is the one quote that I remember from Mandy, and every once in a while I will laugh to myself like a little child because I'm like, knock knock, who's there? Eric Estrada. Eric Estrada from Chips. Just the way he draws out Chips is just like chef's kiss.
One other thing I'll say about the Alien Seed trailer before we move on is that the narrator is very like, is it possible? Will the woman get violated and the child be born? And while he's saying this, she's holding a baby. There's no pregnant woman in any
No.
shot. She's just holding a baby. So
It seems like a hell of a movie. I'm into it. All right, let's hit this up.
now we get now with
Now
the
it's
movie proper.
the actual movie, yeah. All right, we get a nice little shot of a living room Christmas. We get Christmas toys, Christmas tree, snow globes. But over it, of course, is our suspenseful music because this is a horror-ish thing. And we kind of pan around the room. An ornament shatters on the floor as we get our title card, Elves. And now we're in a forest. And we meet Kirsten and her 2 friends, Brooke and Amy. And they're looking for a spot to do a witchy ritual. And we get some lovely 80s teen girl dialogue here.
Get real, Kirsten. Get over it, Amy.
Oh my god. So like it just reminds me of when like that one friend in high school who gets so into Wicca, and so you get dragged into like
Well, you start reenacting scenes from The Craft and going out
Yeah.
in the woods like it's gonna do something. Yeah.
yeah, but because this is like a Christmas theme and stuff like that, and it's like it has like that B movie quality, it reminds me of like if the Hallmark Channel did a version of The Craft.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. This is clearly shot by a TV director. I looked up the director, and he did do a show. Oh God, yeah. I'll pull it up later. I don't want to just be doing searching right now, but it was some sort of like. It was called like Power Force, and it was like set in 2020, and it was like a cyber soldier guy who drives a motorcycle that like shoots people. But
Yeah.
like I watched the intro, and I was like, yeah, it's shot basically the same as this.
Yeah.
But yeah, big like kind of TV director guy.
So these 3 girls, they're in the woods. They're looking for the perfect spot to do their ritual. They come across a little bit of a clearing, and they all sit down. And they kind of... Kirsten is the ringleader here. She's got her little sketchbook. She's got one of her grandfather's books on the occult, and a little candle, just like a tea candle in a holder. And they sit down, and this is where Kirsten deems them to be the Sisters of Anti-Christmas. She has a couple of names for her group throughout this movie, and this is the first one.
I did
Yeah.
love this one. It's the most obtuse for sure.
I feel like once you said that, I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. But like getting to the whole context, once you have the whole context of the movie, like anti-Christmas, I'm like, what kind of other stuff are you into, lady? Like, it's just like, we'll get into it, but oh man.
Yeah. And so she wants to do a bit of a little ritual here, which starts off with "We bemoan Christmas," which is such a lovely start to anything. I bemoan this, right? Like it's not even like I'm particularly angry. It's just like, oh, this again.
I love that one of the girls wanted to put a blanket down because it's cold, but she like slapped the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Like, no, get that shit out of here. We got to be closer to Gaia. We have to be sitting straight on the earth.
Yeah.
And there's a nice little bit of foreshadowing here where she's they're talking about their power, and she says, "We're girls, remember the master race," which will come back.
Emphasis on master race.
Yeah.
Chekhov's master race.
Yeah, and she said, like, what was it? A little bit later. Jesus, I wrote that down.
You look for that. I just loved how much these were the most like 80s, 90s suburbs girls.
Oh, I love
it. It was like, are we anti-Christmas because we didn't get anything good last year and stuff like that. And but they look the part so much of like just like upper middle class to middle class like girls of the time.
And like you get the sense that Kirsten is kind of seeking this spiritual fulfillment, but has no fucking clue what she's doing. Like, cause she brought her sketchbook. She just took her friends out into the woods. She doesn't know what's going on.
She got like one of those like little decorative like tea candle, like those little
it's
candles.
absolutely
tea candle.
It's absolutely her mom's tea candle from like the bathroom that she just
she probably got from like Bath and Body Works or like even Pier 1.
Yeah, I love when they show what she drew. And
the Virgin of Christmas.
I was like, yes, I dreamed these Art Deco boobs is literally what she says.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that Art Deco? This looks like an ECW comic that you like drew. Like there's just like
bars.
Some black bars. Like my girlfriend mentioned, she was like, maybe it's supposed to be like an uncomfortable metal bra that the boob is like spilling out the middle of. I don't know, which would be awful.
That would be
like a metal gate.
Oh my god.
So they're futzing around, and I don't know if it's Amy or Brooke or something that like bumps the candle, but then Kirsten grabs it, but the candle, like the holder, is glass and it shatters and it cuts her hand. It gives her a perfect little cut on the palm, and I still don't know how it happened, but much like a lot of the movies we watch on this show, glass breaks and people get cut. That's how it happens.
People get cut. People get impaled. People get smothered with glass.
Their wrists slit.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So she ties her hand off with a little piece of cloth there, and then they just kind of call it there. They're just like, oh no, this went wrong, and so one of the things I think Amy asks, what about the ceremony? And Kirsten replies, we'll just have to be blood sisters, which is a much better name for your group.
Yeah.
But, like, that's legitimately cool.
Better than, it's better than Masters Without Slaves.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that one.
It's, like I said, like, some of the terminology, like, it will come, like, once you get to that thing, did we mention the
we spoiled.
Nazis?
We spoiled the Nazis. So, Nazis are coming.
Of course, like, I just had a complete, like, mind blip of, like, what just happened. So, fuck.
It was all the drugs.
It was all the drugs. So, yeah, so when you get that context of Nazis, you're like, yeah. This is definitely, I can totally get why she would say masters without slaves or what the fuck ever. So it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah. So the important thing here is that some of Kirsten's blood hits the earth. The girls all kind of go quickly. They pack their shit and go. And as they're going, the earth begins to kind of pulsate, and then we get a nice little hand that pops out of the earth, and
opened up Gaia's gash.
Oh.
I'm on camera. I'm getting weird with this one.
Yeah, you get to see the faces that Nathan and I make sometimes when Josh says like a word supposed to describe the female anatomy, but it's just like it comes up, and I'm like, oh Christ.
So Kirsten gets home, and so the girls they all say their goodbyes. She gets through the door, and we get our first of many elf POV shots here. So this thing has come out of the ground, and we're seeing it kind of stagger through the woods, and you get the sense that it is making its way to Kirsten in her home, and then Kirsten comes in. There's an odd stone or crystal on the mantle that she's kind of just like playing with, caressing, when she gets snuck up upon by her grandfather, who is in his wheelchair, and he rolls up and just fucking slaps a bitch. Like he knows.
Her whole
knows.
family.
Were you in the woods? Were you in the fucking woods?
Wait, no, it's were you in the woods? Were you in the woods?
Yeah, he's not just German. He's German.
Yeah,
He's German.
the Germans. You'll see a lot of the Germans.
Oh yes, Hans. we love chocolate. I'm sorry if we ever have German listeners.
Oh, yeah, no, we did, and now they're all gone.
They're all gone.
They packed up their later house and they fucking went home. Is what they did.
And so you get the sense here, they have a conversation. He immediately accuses her of A, stealing his books, and B, going into the woods. Two things that he has forbidden, and two things that she has very definitely done. So he slaps her once for taking his book, and he slaps her again because she started to open her mouth, and he knew that there was only going to be lies coming out of her whore mouth.
Whoa!
Yeah. So, he does notice, however, that she is injured. He looks it up. He looks at the wound and he's like, "Oh, it's already stopped bleeding. It's fine. Let's go wash it up." And she, very reasonably being like, "No, fuck you, Gramps," goes to do it herself.
Yeah, but he seemed very adamant to get it washed. Mm-hmm. Like,
well, she's very important, as we'll come to know.
She is very important, but yeah, this whole family is fucked.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, there's no wonder she's out in the woods trying to like do weird spells. Like this girl has no reprieve from hell.
No. Her work sucks, her family sucks, her like everything just seems to go wrong, and we'll get into the mother.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's I think
pure
is right
psychopath.
now.
Yeah.
Well, we do have one little elf POV here as he is stumbling through the woods again.
Yeah.
As you do. And
as one does.
Yeah, he's making his way through. It's very dark, so we just see kind of the tree trunks coming at us. And all of a sudden he gets distracted. The elf, the POV gets distracted because you see a frog on a tree. And it's just kind of like in a little like knot. And he goes up and you see like a little elf paw grab it and you hear the crunching and munching. So
it's a very like doll-like limb.
oh my god, yeah.
I
mean, we'll get to this puppet. This puppet is...
Yeah.
To go back to Mandy, it kind of reminded me of like the Cheddar Goblin.
Oh, yeah. Man,
Like,
that movie was fucking weird.
That was weird.
I
but
loved it, but it was so weird.
Oh my god.
So the elf eats a frog, and then we get our first... we meet Kirsten's mom. Kirsten's mom is a stone cold psychopath.
Oh.
There is a reason for that, and it's a pretty good one, but we'll
is-
beat that. We'll get to there.
We'll get to it.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
But for right now, her mom is the fucking worst.
Well, I think her first line in the movie is, "Are you hurt? Good."
Yeah.
It is. I have that written down.
Are you hurt?
Good.
Good.
And that's her punishment.
Yeah,
like that's
maybe
her
it'll
punishment.
stick
No.
this time. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
but also she's like, "Oh, and for that savings account, I'm gonna drain it."
yeah.
And I'm like, "Can you do that?"
I think
How
that's
old is
illegal.
Kirsten? Is
Kirsten's at
Kirsten's,
least like 17, 18.
Yeah.
Like she's at least probably a high school like sophomore or senior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how the whole stances of banks work, but I would feel like you would have to drag in your kid to be like,
Yeah.
I'm draining their savings account or whatever. I don't know. I would feel like there has to be like a 2-step process to take out your kid's savings account.
Also, the punishment here fitting the crime. Like she literally went out with her friends, comes back. She has a fairly large but not life-threatening cut on her arm. She's not back late. Everyone's still up. And her mother's just like, yeah, all of that money you've been saving from the job you've been working after school, that's all gone.
Yeah.
Like, she is entirely unreasonable throughout this movie.
Oh my god.
But man, like she does a great job of it. Like I really enjoyed her petty villainy.
Oh my god, it's like sometimes you'll hear these stories of insane parents and you're just like, it just gets your blood boiling, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's. I would feel there might be a file open at CPS.
Is it Kirsten or Kristen?
It's Kirsten.
It's
I actually looked this
Kirsten.
up.
Okay, it's Kirsten. Because and as we've been talking about this, that she kind of goes to clean the cut, runs into her mother. Her mother sees it, accuses her of the same things her grandfather did. Says that, good, you got hurt. I'm not going to ground you. This is the punishment you deserve, and maybe it'll stick this time. And Kirsten's reply to this is so totally outrageous.
The complete 80s, like, teen.
Truly outrageous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Showtime synergy.
She has the response as if she just learned that Tiffany canceled her mall, like the nearest mall concert that she was planning to go to, right? Like,
I think we're alone now.
honestly, high key, I fucking love that song so much.
I do too. Yeah,
Oh my
Tiffany
God.
kicks ass.
Yeah.
It's I watch the video for it occasionally because Dee
Isn't
and I
it
will
just
watch like
her,
music
like,
videos.
at, like, a
it's
bunch
her
of, like,
doing mall
malls?
concerts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's weird because like she did that in I think '88. I was 1 year old. That music video makes me so nostalgic for a time I did not live through. Like that, like 80s kind of, because it bleeds.
We're
in this.
Canada though. There's always a bit of lag. Like,
That's
true.
I grew up in PEI, and like I didn't have any older siblings, but I had older cousins, so I felt like my frame of reference always went back. And then just like technology, the cars, living in a smaller town, like things always were just like a little bit. Things were always like skewed back by like 5 or 7 years.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
That is right. Technically, we're like 5 years behind the rest of the world.
Which is wild nowadays because
I don't know if I said it on the podcast before, but I went to LA and used their transit system, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's beautiful!" And people hate it. It's it's considered the worst.
every time my wife and I go to New York, we're just in awe of like the New York City subway and train, like the train system, New Jersey Transit, and everything, and. Every American that I've ever talked to is just like, "Oh, our transit's so shitty." I was like, no. You guys have trains. Like, I know your trains are shitty. We don't have that.
No.
Like, it's like if you go to Toronto, the Toronto subway is literally a V. It's like 12 stops in total. It is pathetic for a city that size. Everyone else has so much. Like, save us. Someone please come and save us. Build some infrastructure.
Yeah, and for people like in the Halifax area, that we have like 10 million condos and apartments just being built up, and then like we don't have like the streets or the structures to handle all the people coming in from like Ontario.
Yeah,
Fucking
we're a city.
Ontarians.
We're a city built for horse and carriage.
Yeah.
and not to digress too much, but just about the New York train system. I watched a documentary about graffiti in New York that was made in the 80s, and a lot of the problems was that the trains, they show the trains, and the trains outside, inside are insane and covered in graffiti. And they talked to a guy who works for the MTA about what they were doing for security. This is a documentary in the 80s. And he's just talking about it, where he's just like, well, I told them, I said, put up one fence and then put up another fence, so you got like a moat, and then put a wolf in there. I said, and they said, why are you going to put a wolf? And I said, well, because there's been no recorded attack of a wolf in captivity attacking a person. So put a wolf in there. And they asked me, well, what if the wolf does bite somebody? I said, good. I thought that was the point. It's just like all like just shot straight on in this documentary from the 80s about graffiti. I was like, that's crazy.
I want that man to design correctional facilities. So I want to see where he goes with that. Yeah. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. It's just like a bunch of wolves.
Put a wolf in there.
A wolf in there.
All right.
Wow.
I think we're on to our shower scene.
Yes, we are. Yeah. So she leaves. Kirsten leaves to take a sad shower, and I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna say this because I've finished most of my gin already. I didn't plan to do that, but I will be calling her Kirsten, and Kristen. So please just go with me on this.
Yeah.
After the Elvira one, I went back. You mentioned that I called Elvira.
Elvira,
For like a good chunk of the middle, I never noticed. So I'm going to get out in front of it this time, especially where I've already been drinking. Yeah. If I say a name that starts with K, assuming I'm talking about the main character, please. So she goes upstairs, takes a sad shower, and as she's getting out, we have the triumphant return of Tit Patrol.
I was gonna say, this is like your reemergence of the Tit Patrol. I think the Tit Patrol has many chapters.
It does. I love how
US.
Tit Patrol keeps coming back. And if you don't know Tit Patrol, check out our episode on Sleepaway Camp 2, which is a stone cold classic, a fantastic movie, and you will meet Tit Patrol the first. Yep. This is this is Willie, her little brother. And he likes to see fucking big tits, which he tells her.
I think this character, the little brother, who is maybe 10 or 11, is the only one to say the F word in the whole movie. Yes. And he says it multiple times.
Yeah.
He got all the F-bombs. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Because she's like, get out of here, and shit. And she chases him because he's just like... he's like, I like looking at tits, and she's like, I'm your sister, you weirdo. Yeah. And he's like, and you got fucking big tits, and I'm gonna tell everybody that I saw them. And then he keeps going because he's like, I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. Mom said she's giving me all your money from your savings account. You fuck yourself. Like, he says fuck so much. I didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah. So like a lot of this, I mean, it's funny to see because this movie is quite unintentionally hilarious at times, but it's also
a little uncomfortable.
Disturbing? Yeah, a little uncomfortable because then we immediately get into like she grabs him and like she gives him like a big noogie and stuff. But then like kind of like throws him on the and they're like wrestling.
They're wrestling and then we get elf POV.
Yes. Like, it was making the elf quite excited.
I was like, oh, he's into this.
Yeah. And given the themes of this movie later.
I don't want to see the writer's search history.
Yeah. Step elf.
Oh no, Step Elf! I'm stuck inside the washing machine.
I was trying to water the Christmas tree, Step Elf. I'm stuck. Oh god, my drink's almost done.
Oh, Josh, that's. We might have to take a couple breaks this episode.
I think the 2 breaks is warranted in a long episode. I also have to pee too, so let's keep going.
Yep.
All right. So they wrestle on the bed, and then the next scene is her. So she's sad again, and she's petting her cat on the bed. Sadly. Agamemnon.
You're my Agamemnon. I'm such a cliche. You're my only friend.
Also, what the fuck? What she's got?
Oh, those other 2 fucking hoes.
Oh yeah, fuck those 2 bitches. Like this cat's the only friend that I need.
Yeah.
Also, cute cat, by the way.
Yeah,
I love that cat.
Good cat actor. Like cat hanging around. Good cat actor.
Yeah, I really resisted in my notes saying on the bed stroking her pussy softly. So you're welcome.
Well, I
restrained myself.
I'm glad you kept that from us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I want that audio singled out.
Oh no, please. Wait, no, I do the audio. I can get that for you.
Thanks.
The elf, now we get some more elf action here. The elf breaks into her house.
In slow motion.
Yeah. Is it just like, oh shit, like, I don't know why they would do it in slow motion. That puzzled
it's very dramatic.
Me.
Yeah.
For a dramatic
effect. I feel
effect.
like it was because whatever they threw something through the window, and I think they wanted to make it seem more like it was the elf smashing the window.
Yeah.
So because they threw something through it and couldn't just mash the puppet up against the glass.
I mean, they could have. I would have appreciated.
Honestly, if they just full Kool-Aid man, like elf through the puppet, elf through the glass. It would have just movie's already a 10, 15. Like
absolutely. So this is in the basement, so no one notices, but it's one of those small basement windows. And then we get another elf POV through the house, It goes upstairs to Willie's bedroom, where Willie is asleep because, it's now late at night.
Dreaming about his sister's titties.
I mean, what are you going to do? So then we cut to the elf on top of, like, he's pinned the little brother to the bed. And this is the first shot we get of the elf's face. And
The elf's face.
what were your thoughts on the elf?
It's immobile.
Yes,
I
that
was
is
gonna
the
say
most
that.
important part.
Constantly.
Yeah.
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 It's like
How
they-
hard would it have been to make a puppet with mouth articulation? Like, you can do that with a sock,
Yeah.
right? Like, because it doesn't really. Like, it has a little bit, but it's
Yeah.
always awkward and the jaws misaligned.
Yeah, I don't know if they tried to do it like a Muppet, because there's times where you see the hand work, and sometimes, I don't know if it's just that there's two different ways they do it. Sometimes it looks like it is a hand with like a glove or something on, because it does look like there's a real articulating human hand in there, and then other times it's just,
Yeah,
So
it does do a lot of.
so there's that. So I don't know what the mechanics of this thing are.
Would I
Beyond me.
Yeah, I gotta think that they had different bits of the puppet for different scenes. Like we do get the occasional one that'll show you most of its body, but there are some clear ones where it seems like they built a puppet that was just its legs or just an arm. Kind of thing,
and I
right?
don't
When
know
you switch.
either if it's like someone put on the elf boots and had to go like by the camera,
Honestly,
because
with-
there's a couple elf shots, but it doesn't ever look like they're putting much weight down.
No,
Like,
it looks.
I think they're,
It looks
I
like
think
someone
there's no
maybe with
feet in
like
it.
two sticks,
Yes,
right?
exactly. yeah, just a little fastener. In
Yeah.
between.
Yeah.
we can build this elf. We have the technology.
We have the technology. Which is like $100 in a Michael's gift card.
Yeah. So the elf's outside. The little brother, of course, wakes up. He's screaming because he sees this horror of a puppet on top of him. The elf, instead of like hurting the brother at all, though, the elf fucking yeets out the window.
Well, the cat saved the cat.
Oh, is it the cat? I
The cat
didn't
comes
see
in
the
and
cat.
the cat like runs
okay.
in and like kind of intervenes.
Okay, I think he spooks
Just-
the elf,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
so the cat sort of intervenes, and Kirsten comes from her room because she's the first to respond.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that sort of spooks it. It does go back out through the window, which we get a hilarious shot of. I don't know what, because again, this is a VHS rip.
Yeah.
This was a muddy,
dark
murky
scene,
movie
yeah.
to look at, and then occasionally during the during the POV shots of the elf, it's like all Vaseline edged lens.
There is,
which what a
yeah,
way to
definitely
live. That's what you see. Like, I thought the Predator had it hard. Like, this is rough.
it is murky. That is the proper term. So
It's
the
like
elf.
they dip the lens in like the Florida like Everglades and just like
This is
If
Elfo
we
vision.
zoom
yeah.
in far enough, we'll find a new species.
Yeah. And Kirsten comes in first, and she kind of comforts her brother. We get the sense that they have a pretty good relationship, honestly, because he doesn't come up too much in the movie. But the few scenes that we see, like, she gets mad at him for of course the little voyeurism there, but
Yeah.
but otherwise they seem to have an okay relationship.
Yeah.
And she is legitimately concerned about him. And so she kind of says she had a bad dream. Her the mother comes in, and I'm not saying her name because she literally does not have one.
No.
In the credits, it is Kirsten's mother, Kirsten's grandfather, so I will be referring to them as such throughout the film. And she comes in, and she looks around, and then she immediately blames the cat because he does have a few like scratches
Yeah.
on him that the little
also the cat is pregnant.
elf hands. Yes, because we won't read ahead here, but there's a tragedy coming up.
Yeah. But it was mentioned during the scene when she's cuddling
Yeah.
the cat, because
Yes.
she's like, "You're my only friend. Don't run off with that dude cat who got
Yes.
you pregnant, and leave me alone here,
Yeah.
because then I'll be truly alone
Yeah.
forever."
So she was surprised when the cat ended up being a girl, which she mentions in that scene, and then that the cat is pregnant. And so the mother blames the cat, and then the mother is just like, "Come here, Agamemnon," and you're just like, "Ooh, boy!"
Oh, damn.
And Kirsten's like, "Don't hurt her," and she takes her away and
Yeah.
stuff.
But as she's taking the cat away, we also get what's the kid's name?
Willie.
Willie's two different interpretations
Oh,
of
yes.
what just attacked him.
Yeah.
One of which is a ninja gremlin man.
Yep.
And then a fucking ninja troll.
Ninja troll.
Specifically.
Is that like a troll? Is that like a ninja with like a 4chan account that's like keeps commentating on women on YouTube?
Probably. I you know what I like though is that both of those, and I didn't catch this until you just said it, but the one thing he was most certain of was that it was a ninja, because that was included in both interpretations.
Is, I think, in most scenes wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
he is.
shirt.
Yeah.
So I think he's deep. That's deep in his lexicon now.
That's fair. Honestly, this is another kid that I feel strongly has some young Nathan vibes.
Yeah.
Because again, going back to Tit Patrol,
he's
and then
a
secondly,
voyeur and he's
big
super
into Ninja Turtles.
yeah, Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I think that's why I always empathize so much with Tit Patrol whenever it comes up in these movies, is because
There's a sentence.
There is a sentence.
So we're gonna hit the next day, but before we do that, let's take a little break. We're about 50 minutes in.
Yeah,
and
break will
we
be
will
good.
come back.
And one final thing I do want to say is that after this commotion, no one cares about the kid.
No.
And
No.
everyone leaves, and he's just left alone with his thoughts, and he's scratched up. It's just like a stupid little ninja man.
The mother gets to go back to bed, which is the only thing she wants, and Kirsten has her cat, which is the only thing she cares about.
Yeah.
So Willie is just left on his own after that very traumatizing experience.
I'll find you, Donatello, in my dreams again.
All right, folks.
Break number one.
We'll
Break
be
number
back with where we'll meet Mike McGavin, department store Santa and hero,
Ex-cop.
ex-detective. Stay tuned.
God.
Oh, Jesus.
Pervert! I'm not a pervert. I like seeing naked girls.
I'm your fucking sister.
Yeah, and you've got fucking big tits, and I'm gonna tell everybody I saw 'em.
We're back. It's time for more elves. Actually, this is a bit of a misnomer because it should have just been called Elf. There is only one elf in the
There
movie.
is
I'm
elf,
glad
yeah.
that someone brought that up, because they
Yeah.
really never do get to the plural of the movie.
Yeah.
The plural, that is. Maybe the, I don't know, maybe the many of elves is like the various different short German Nazis.
Yeah, perhaps.
We're not doing much to win back our German audience.
No,
with
we're
that.
not. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So, when we left our heroes, of course, we had the elf attack on Willie, and now it is the next day, and we meet Mike McGavin, ex-detective. He's wandering the streets of this small town, and he heads into a department store. Now, before we properly meet him, though, we go to Kirsten and her friends. Kirsten is...
Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to say
please do.
about... I realized that this is right here. So we're meeting him. He's played, of course, by Dan Haggerty, who was Grizzly Adams in, I think, a number of films in the 70s.
Is this just because he looks like a grizzly bear?
I guess. I mean, I don't know if Grizzly Adams was a real guy or if this is like one of those American legends of just like a dude who lived with bears or lived in the wild. Or
I think
something.
it's the second one, yeah.
Yeah, so it sort of was like that.
Yeah.
But
like Johnny Appleseed or...
Yeah, I'm thinking it might be in that.
Paul
vein,
Bunyan.
Yeah.
Paul Bunyan.
So Dan Haggerty, both in real life and in this movie, seems to have fallen on hard times.
He really does.
And as he's coming in, he's going into this department store. There is a brass band playing Christmas music outside, and they clearly did not have permits or sound on the street, because the sound of the brass band is being played from a keyboard. It is synth brass and not the actually like people playing the trombone and shit, which I thought was hilarious. But yes, he goes into the store and we continue on.
Yes. So we cut to Kirsten, who is in a little kind of server outfit. She works at a restaurant within the department store,
Which is called Golems.
which is called Golems.
Is it like a
yes.
cheeky
didn't
little
notice
like nod to what was it that Golem movie that API produced?
It could be.
Yeah.
I hope so. Much like Chopping Mall and all their posters and stuff. In fact, we're going to have some Chopping Mall parallels come up here in a bit.
So Kirsten's there. She's working. Brooke and Amy are there as well. They're just hanging out. And they have a little conversation together about her mother and everything that went on last night when she got home. And Brooke and Amy point out quite truthfully that her mother is a turbo bitch. And
I forgot about that.
yeah. And so...
Crafted in a lab.
Yeah,
Lab,
and-
that is, you know. We'll get into it later.
And I think one of them calls her evil stepmother. And Kirsten's like, no, she's my actual mom. She had me when she was 16, which is a plot point that will come back. And so that's kind of the important part there. Now, they're there because they, of course, they're hanging out with Kirsten while she's on shift, but also they want to go goof on Santa. As
I'm
they call
glad
it.
you framed it that, or said it that way, because that's very specifically how they put it.
Yes.
It's just like, she's like, I've been having a bad day. Let's go goof on Santa.
Oh my God.
Let's fucking make a goof out of this guy.
Do you guys not go out and do some goofs?
Goof on
yeah, just
people?
goof on people. Yeah, very popular when I was a child.
I love how much goof is like fighting words in Nova Scotia. I don't know about the rest of Canada. I think it could probably extend to Ontario
No, I think
or something.
as someone from the Maritimes and someone who grew up here, we're like Muppet people compared to like, the rest of like Central Canada. We are Muppet people.
Yeah, but if you call someone, if you're like, man, you're fucking goof, like that's you're gonna throw hands. Like it gets dark.
Serious. Yeah. I think that is absolutely at least a Maritimes thing, if not just a Nova Scotian thing. I've heard it a lot from Cape Bretoners.
Oh.
Honestly.
Which is Nova Scotia.
Which is as Nova Scotia as you get.
The filthy part we cut off, like let hang around.
Yeah, I love Cape Breton and stuff like that. I love we have Cape Breton listeners. I love them too. But like you
Free
guys,
Cape Breton.
yeah, free Cape. Yeah,
What?
yeah,
Fake?
they want to separate from Nova Scotia, and I say go for it. Yeah, go for
I
it,
say
bud.
let's just trial run any province that wants to separate
Oh,
and see
yeah.
what happens.
God,
Just to,
like-
become crumb crawling. Oh God, it's so dark out there.
But no, I would feel like the one that we should really separate like is Quebec because they are so for separating.
Oh,
from the
I'm
rest
for it,
of
man. If
Canada.
I lived in Quebec, I'd be a separatist. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fuck Canada.
Yeah.
Fuck Canada.
Fuck those English speaking big dogs.
Yeah.
Anglo cunts.
Yeah.
As I sit here with my English.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry, we got so off track. that
Really
I
lost the plot.
I lost
So they're
myself.
going to go.
Oh yeah, goof on Santa.
on Santa.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. We get an elf POV here. He's in the store because he's very clearly following Kirsten around, and then we go back to Mike McGavin, who he's real down on his luck. He's just sitting down and having some coffee. Or no, sorry, that's later. But he goes into the department store. He asks Hugh, who is either like the owner or the manager. It's never really specified.
Which everyone in this poor girl's life is a dick.
Oh yeah, everyone's
Yeah.
an
Except
asshole.
for
I'm-
McGavin.
Yeah, Mike's fine.
I'm pretty sure he's the manager because there is a later scene where he's like, oh, the so-and-so and these people are all going to be upset. And I think he
Right.
mentions the owner in that. So he's definitely like a day-to-day manager of
the store manager. And so he the manager Hugh, he knows Mike, and they have a little conversation, but Mike's just like, hey, I really need a job. And Hugh's like, sorry, I got nothing for you type of thing. And Mike's like, oh, well, fuck you too, kind of. And he leaves there.
Well, I love their conversation because it gets to a point where it starts to feel not scripted, and it's just sort of going on.
Yeah.
Because he says something to the manager, and I think it's sort of about like, hey, come on, like have a heart.
You know
or
me,
whatever.
like, yeah,
But,
have a-
but they're kind of getting upset, and the manager's just like, hey, take that sentiment outside, because he gets like kind of rough with them, and he's like, hey, take that sentiment outside.
It's Christmas.
Oh my god.
Like, as he's denying him a job. Like,
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I would feel like, how did these guys know each other? So for backstory with
Mike?
Mike,
Yeah.
he's like an ex-cop,
Yeah, ex-detective.
ex-detective.
Yeah.
He's
He's
like
a damn good one too.
He
Before before he took it home with him.
yeah, which is you leave it in the morgue.
That's
buddy.
right,
Leave
yeah.
it in the morgue. Anyways, how did they know each other? It's one thing I wanted to know. Like, how does a detective and a manager of a department store / restaurant?
he used to manage the mall from Chopping Mall, and Mike was the responding detective, and that's what drove him nuts.
Oh my god. Dealing with all these fucking crazy robots. Now I'm dealing with this little elf.
Yeah.
So then we get a short scene with the girls waiting in line for Santa, because of course it's it's like a mall Santa, so there's a lineup of bratty kids waiting to get their Santa time in.
Also, like, this department store is just basically like a small like community center.
Yeah, it's kind of an everything.
It's very small.
Store.
Like they've
Yeah.
guns.
Well, I think that's kind of
They have lingerie. They've got
I think that was the point of a department store
Yeah.
at that time. You look at something like Harrods in England, which is like obviously the blown out version of that. I went to Harrods, and you can literally walk from, because there's no windows. Like if you're in the center
Well,
of it,
it's-
you'll go from an HMV. And I'm dead serious. I walked from an HMV literally through an entryway into a room that had like huge geodes and mastodon tusks
Oh
for
my God.
sale. I'm not kidding. So like this is like old school department store. It's got everything.
But the way it's laid out, because like when I think of department stores, I think of Sears, I think of the Bay.
Yeah.
You've got your escalators, you've got all that. But this
Poor
just
people department stores.
yeah, this is just like it feels like they just took a lot of like mall, like a mall was going bankrupt, so they started selling all their interior like stuff, and they were just like, this movie was like, yeah, I'll take it. And then like in this small town that they probably filmed in, they're probably like, okay, here's this community center, let's just go in. It's like it's very small.
Transform it to a
Yeah.
department store.
And
yeah.
especially like as they like linger on stuff too long, and a scene later where there's like some action, you do start to notice more of that, of
Yeah.
just like, is that like just some like press board? What is that?
Yeah.
Once it starts to get fucked up, yeah, you do start to notice that it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this was a big empty room they had.
Yeah.
So then we get a very quick scene back at Kirsten's home, where the psycho mom is sneaking up on the cat Agamemnon with a bag.
Yeah, this is what solidified, and then I kind of made me kind of backtrack later on in the movie, but I was like, I'm gonna kill this mother.
Yeah. She's not very sympathetic in the beginning.
No,
certainly.
no.
So she gets Agamemnon. She forces the cat into a bag.
Poor kitty.
And then we go back to Kirsten, who she's got her turn with Santa.
Also, I mean, someone should probably still feel safe at home, all that stuff. Like, you should never, whatever. The minute my mom turns on my cat being like, come here, Agamemnon, and I'd probably be like, hey, teenage friend that I have, can I like leave my cat here? I think my mom's gonna kill it.
Yeah.
Like in a really weird way, which the mom
I have
does.
deep suspicions.
I have extremely deep suspicions that my mom's gonna kill my cat.
The vibes are just really bad at my place right now.
Yeah.
So she pops up onto Santa's lap to goof him, and
He's a Santa that deserves to get goofed on.
Oh,
because
absolutely,
The
yeah.
scene before, we
He's
didn't
like-
get into it much, but he's like desperately trying to keep the
keep his
beard
beard
up.
up.
The beard keeps falling down.
Also,
and he's
this
just
is like-
telling kids where to buy the toys they want in
Yeah.
the department store.
Yeah,
It's
what
like,
he is
Nintendo
a-
Entertainment System
On sale in the basement.
floor 2. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like this Santa, he's too skinny to be a Santa.
Oh, truly.
He doesn't have any of the padding.
He's got
Yeah.
a Coke body.
He
and
does.
There's a reason for that.
There is a reason. But yeah, he's too thin, and I'm like, just find a nice, jolly, old fat guy. Or at least go to the corner, find a fat drunk and put him in a Santa
I
suit.
mean, a sober fat ex-drunk came in and asked for the job.
Yeah,
And they were
exactly.
like, no, I don't know.
We're
I think
gonna
we're into
keep
Coke
this-
Santa this
Yeah.
year. This is the new she Santa.
yeah. Yeah.
And so she basically she gets sexually harassed because he starts kind of touching her leg, and he kind of says something to her under his breath, and she leans in really close, and the line here is, Santa said oral. But the way he says it, and I don't want to do it.
It's
Oral.
upsetting because
Yeah.
the first time he does, it's like kind of oral, like
Yeah.
it's kind of in the back,
Oral.
and then she's like, "What?" It's like Santa said oral. Like
Jesus.
it's really weird and gross, and yeah, she jumps up and fucking
It
runs
slaps
away.
him
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it slaps
you know,
him.
like she should.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's fucking weird.
Oh, she learned that from her grandfather.
Oh
so,
yeah. She got that left hook from
That's right.
with the left Reich.
Yeah. And then we go to.
I don't know what that joke was.
is-
I don't know what it was.
I don't know either.
The
but-
left Reich. Oh my god.
We go to probably the most upsetting scene in this movie,
I
which
know.
is Kirsten's mom takes the cat bag into the bathroom and murders the cat in the toilet, like by pushing it down into the toilet. Which, firstly, I mean, if you've ever held a cat and the cat doesn't want to be held, like, cats are really good at fighting you.
Oh man.
But like a cat fighting for its life, like, man, like, what a bad choice of a place to try and drown a cat.
Seems like more work for her.
Yeah, honestly, like,
Yeah.
you just gotta, like, you put some rocks in there, you tie it up and you throw it in the river is what you do.
That's like a really upsetting image.
It is. I mean, but that's like a classic way to, like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I love cats. I'm not a monster.
Yeah.
That's a classic cat murder.
That is a
you know?
classic cat
You know,
murder.
Women get murdered jogging in the park.
Yeah.
Cats you throw in a bag
That's right.
with rocks in a lake.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just
Classic murder.
the way things are done, okay? And
Men die in wars. Women get murdered in parks, and
Yeah.
cats get drowned in a bag.
yeah. And so it I felt like it went on too long. It probably didn't go on all that long, but it's one of those ones where clearly there's just like stuffing or a puppet or something in the bag, and she's just like
Trying
moving
to put
around
it
with her
in.
hands, but like there's almost no fight in this cat,
No.
which is pretty funny. But yeah, so she murders the cat. We pop back to the department store where Santa gets told to go for a break after sexually harassing another staff member, which, I mean, honestly, for that era of kind of employee, rights and relations and stuff, I was like, yeah, that sounds right. Like,
Oh yeah, this department store does not have HR.
Yeah. No.
It does not exist.
No.
The fact that the manager's like out there in front of all of the parents and the kids are still lined up, and this guy like freaks out, rips the beard off,
Yeah.
and he's trying to be like, look, nothing like this has ever happened at this department store.
Oh.
We're just gonna let him cool off.
You can cool
like
off,
it wasn't
yeah.
like
Yeah.
I thought right there they were gonna go get Dan Haggerty to take over. He was like, no. We're gonna go let him get zipped back up.
Yeah.
He's gonna come back.
It's gonna be great.
He's going to be totally zooted. He's not going to be feeling up on women anymore.
yeah.
No.
Hey there, horny pervert Santa, walk it off.
Walk
it off.
Walk it off and flip off that little that underage
Who was another employee? I think.
salesperson.
Yeah. Who's like,
She's
the
like,
jewelry
"Hi,
department.
Santa," and he's like,
Yeah.
"Fuck you."
Oh my god, yeah. So so he gets told to take a break. We go back to Psycho Mom, who buries the cat in the backyard. She has a good line here, though. At least I've got some fertilizer for my garden.
Yeah, with the poor pregnant cat.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
weird.
It's super sad.
Yeah, that is upsetting. And then we immediately... This is how crazy this movie is. I mean, it isn't enough that this is where we've been jumping back and forth from. We jump from her burying the cat she just drowned in a toilet over to the mall Santa closely chopping up
Oh my
cocaine. These scenes are back to back. There's no establishing shot. This is the store. Both of these sides of the story were so important they had to be juxtaposed next to each other.
Yeah. So yeah, Santa's doing coke in the back room.
He tries to
He
do
tries to
coke.
do
He
coke.
does.
I don't know. I think we said it on the mic where I say he's just chopping up those
Yeah.
Bobby Browns. He's
Yep.
getting those nice big thick lines ready to go. 'cause
Those
he's got-
nice
lines.
mountains.
Yeah, he's not going to take a break for another 45. He's got to make sure he's good.
That's right.
He's got to fuel the tank.
Yep.
But he did something that I know no self-respecting coke user of somebody who's chopping up that much cocaine to do themselves would do, and that's allow the Santa beard to flop forward onto the cocaine and get everywhere, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, his coke, he basically loses all of his coke into that beard,
'cause
right? Yeah.
It would get stuck to that beard.
Oh, okay.
And then he stands up and it's all like kind of brushed away as soon as he stands up from it.
Yeah.
Do you think he would just start sucking on the beard?
Oh, yes, he would. As somebody who used to do drugs, yeah, you would suck on the beard for
Just start
sure.
sucking on it.
You'd suck on the beard, he'd be licking the table, he'd have a flashlight on the floor, getting the crumbs. Oh, yeah, it's nasty when you like drugs.
And things are about to get so much worse for him, though, because not only does this room have coke all over the place now, but it also has an elf. And the elf has saw somehow the altercation between him and Kirsten, and now he's going to get revenge on Kirsten's behalf, and he has a knife. And honestly, anytime the elf is holding something in this movie is the funniest thing in the world to me. Because
Like this.
it's
Like
it's
this.
very much
Like
the
Like the Cabbage Patch.
we
Like,
tape
Like a
this
Barbie.
to the puppet
Yeah,
hand.
like, it's like, oh, here, Barbie, here's your cup. Okay.
yeah. And he just goes at Mall
wait,
Santa's
tape
dick.
a knife to my hand. Tape a knife to my hand.
Yeah. He stabs him
He
in the
castrates
genitals.
the mall
Yeah.
Santa.
Yeah.
And we don't see this once, but thrice, I think. We
Yeah, it-
cut
like,
from
it
like
really
reaction
goes-
to back to
Yeah.
just a pair of red breeches like this and a knife just
yeah.
exploratory mission up in there.
Yeah. Out front, Hugh is getting antsy because there's a lot of moms with their kids waiting to see
I
Santa.
would feel like, as a mother, the very bare minimum, if I was the bare minimum.
Bare minimum.
If I see like a coked up Santa like rip off a beard and like start yelling and flip off a poor like
Yeah.
sales associate, I would be like, you know what? I think we should just stop supporting local business
Yeah.
and let's just go to our local like 1980s
I
mall.
got a fat uncle in a cheap costume. I
That's
think
it,
we
yeah.
can trick my kid.
Yeah, you know
we're
what?
okay.
Let's just say this isn't Santa or whatever,
Yeah.
and then like take my kid out. But they're still there.
Oh
They're,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Either the moms are like they don't give a shit enough. They're so hopped up. They're like these like housewives who are so hopped up on Xanax that they don't even know where they are.
This
or how
is
they
the
got
childhood that Gen X like accuses millennials of like, yeah, you missed out. You got turned into pussies by not having this childhood. Like,
Yeah.
all of the evidence just keeps stacking up against them. I don't know.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you see, Gabby, they've been waiting for like 15 to 25 minutes, and that's
And by God,
they're
they're
there.
gonna see that.
They're gonna
Santa.
see that goddamn Santa.
They
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. And so out front, the parents are getting antsy. So Hugh sends the kind of Santa's helper into the back to check on him. Just another young employee, and she arrives, and we get a nice little scream there, and then we jump to when the police are here. And this was great because there's a detective, there's like a lead detective, and then I think a cop that's helping him on the case, and the cop who's assisting him goes over to the table where like the coke is, and then I think he puts it on his gums, like
Yeah, that's like an
He's
old
like-
school
Yeah.
thing of like
Yeah.
to test.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
oh yeah, this is
because
cocaine.
it makes it.
Let me
it
do
will-
some.
It
This
will
is-
numb. It makes it numb.
Oh, okay.
If you touch it to your gums and stuff, it'll make it numb. That's why you see that in movies where they would do that. Because it's like, okay, what is this? Okay, well, I make my gums numb, then I know it's cocaine, and it's like, well, you're still doing it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's in your system.
Yeah,
dog.
it's like he just like I still don't know if it's cocaine.
Yeah, let me.
Excuse me. Yeah. Anybody got a light bulb? I need to make a small hole in it and fill it with smoke.
Excuse me, I freebase this cocaine.
So yeah, they kind of come around and do cop stuff. Hugh's like, oh, nothing like this has happened in 50 years.
It's a sign of the
times. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, this detective is great because he thinks he's way more of a serious actor than he actually is, and this guy delivers so hard on all his lines.
He does not know what the rest of this movie is.
Yeah, didn't leave a crumb on that plate. Just picked them all up. Just took his cunt, pressed it down on the plate, picked all those crumbs, took the crumbs all with him.
Yeah. So he goes and they've made Kirsten hang around so he can question her.
Yeah, which they immediately suspected.
Oh yeah. Well, they're like, well, he copped a feel and then he's found dead in the back room with his balls cut off. And
then again,
specifically his nuts cut off.
But this is like
Christmas
extremely, this is like extremely like I find like lazy like police work. Like this is just like that small town police work. Like, oh, this person altercation. She obviously did it, but she was like working witnesses. No blood on her. Yeah.
Very Masters of the Universe level police work. Of just like, oh, you're looking for your girlfriend that you're worried about might have died in this fire? Yeah, you're a fucking suspect.
Yeah. Oh, he does have some Lubeck vibes to him, eh?
This guy victimized you, and while you were at work where you don't get a fucking break, you went and cut his nuts off?
Yeah. So, that's it. The next scene is when...
one other thing I will say about that was just his exit, that guy's exit from the scene, because he doesn't turn. He sort of is looking at her, and he doesn't turn to walk away. He does this one. He just sort of phases away like a ghost, but like is like maintaining eye contact with her. He just like shifts out of the scene. It's hilarious.
Sorry, I was just picturing that in my head now. So yeah, Kirsten gets home, and she's looking for Agamemnon. She keeps calling him. Her mother's like, "Oh, I haven't seen your cat," kind of thing. And
I would immediately suspect. Like,
absolutely.
What the fuck did you do to my cat? Just automatically.
What's with this wet bag?
Yeah.
A lot of hair in it.
Hey, Mom, why is my pillowcase really wet?
Yeah, she just put it back on the pillow with like all the cat hair on the inside, and it's just like, I can't seem to find the cool side of the pillow. It just seems to all be wet and furry. Really poking me in the face a lot.
This is a real nice rank of toilet water and death.
I mean, that's what my death is going to smell like. I don't know.
Are you going for like an Elvis death? Are you dying the shitter?
I don't know. Like, I feel like it'll be the other way. Like, knowing me, like, I'm not really a shitter. I'm more of a puker. Like, I feel like it'll be the front way.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I'll be bowing to the porcelain gods. And
I feel like... Nathan, how do you think you're going to die?
I'm going to get hit by some asshole in a white SUV.
Crossing
the street in Halifax. I'll be running. That's
running,
my
That's going to be me in the white van.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Because I'm getting closer to my driver's license.
Ayo.
I'm going to be a menace on the street.
I like how that sentence almost ended. I'm going to be a man.
A menace.
A menace. Yeah.
Straight menace.
Yeah. Straight ass menace. Yeah. But me, I think ritual sacrifice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's classy.
It is.
Yeah.
People underestimate, like, it's kind of a bit of an honor, right, to be chosen as a human sacrifice, I think.
Yeah. And all those guys wanted to do was get their head straight in the desert.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, I love the lore that's coming out. I love it. There's just like a lore. You gotta
never
watch
thought...
multiple episodes about shit.
Yeah. It calls back to our Werewolf on Wheels. Honestly, that movie, I gotta rewatch that movie. That movie is like peak cinema.
I could watch that again.
Like, it's funny that we're like on such a weird digression here, but it's probably the prettiest movie we've done.
Yeah.
In terms of like shots and film quality, like it's
Yeah.
quite well done.
Surprisingly so, right?
yeah. Like considering the budgets of some of the other movies we've
And
done,
it's-
like Jaws 3D and other things, it's like, how do these look like crap?
It's more compelling than most of the movies we watch because of the interpersonal relationships and like yeah, man, we could do 4 hours on Tarot and Adam.
Let's just do Werewolves on Wheels once
Again?
a year. Like,
Yeah.
Once a
do
year
it
we'll do
again.
Werewolves on Wheels
Yeah.
and just like revisit it.
Well, each time we go
other
deeper?
Other weird
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Before we're gonna continue right after this because we're gonna mad digressions, but another podcast not affiliated with us, but it's called Till Death Do Us Blart. And it's the guys from Worst Idea Ever who they would, I think for once a week, they'd watch Sex in the City 2 and then try to do a podcast about it. They did it for like a year.
Oh, no.
Two Australian guys. And they did it with Grown Ups too and some other movies where they just watch the same movie over and over again for 1 year and make make a podcast about it. And so once a year since 2015, they team up with my brother, and me. So there's 5 of them, and they watch Paul Blart 2 at Thanksgiving. So since 2015, there's been 1 episode a year of them just dissecting the same movie over and over again, and getting deeper and weirder. So look, the system works.
Okay.
So, but anyway, let's continue. We're like 25 minutes into
We
the
are
actual,
so
like,
deep. Yeah.
plot of the movie.
We're yeah. So we get a short scene here where we cut to Mike, where he comes home. He lives in a trailer, but he finds that he has been forcefully evicted from the trailer. There's a notice to quit on the door, and someone's put a padlock on it. And so it is a sad Christmas for
It is a
Mike.
very sad Christmas. So, listeners, I don't know the whole semantics when it comes to property laws in America, but I feel, would it just be an actual eviction from the trailer or from the trailer park?
Well, it's clearly not a trailer park. He seems to be on some hill
mean,
where,
he's
like, a
definitely
guy with a private radio station would be operating. So
Yeah.
I think he's renting it from an even crazier motherfucker,
Yeah.
I think is what's going on here.
Yeah, when you see it, it's really just out on its own. To answer your original question, though, I think you'd have to quit the trailer park, because if you're not a resident
Yeah.
of the trailer park, they operate a little bit like gated communities.
Yeah.
In that regard, where they do kind of have, like, they've got like a front office where you check in and stuff if you're a visitor, and a lot of trailer parks run more like small gated communities than they do like your
it's
old
also-
school just yeah.
It's also that a lot of the times the people own the trailer, but you don't own the land. That's why you pay lot fees.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you don't own the lot.
Yeah.
And I learned that the hard way.
Oh,
working
no,
for-
did you get
work-
evicted from your
no,
trailer?
I worked for a company that did driveway sealing. And they were like, hey, go to this trailer park and ask people if they want their driveway sealed. And I found out that because they don't own it, they really fucking hate when people come up asking them to spend money on a piece of the property that they
They don't
don't
own.
actually
Yeah.
own. So that's how I learned about that.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Excellent.
All right. So,
Excellent. All right.
The movie.
The movie. We're doing the movie. It's too much gin. I'm sorry. I keep
No, we're good.
losing
We're good.
myself. Kirsten.
It's the
we're
last
back at
episode of
Kirsten.
the year. We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
So Kirsten is calling for her cat. She's kind of yelling out the door and around the house. So this is where the elf is trying to be helpful, but he doesn't really get human social customs.
No.
Because he's out in the yard, because he's anywhere Kirsten is in this movie, the elf is never far. And so he decides that he's going to dig up the cat to bring it back for her, which is very sweet.
Which I thought it was gonna be like a Pet Cemetery like vibe. Like he's gonna.
No.
I kind of
Revive?
did too.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was
thought-
just like, oh no, she's going to get a dead cat.
Elves
Like,
are magic.
I honestly,
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a Godfather scene where she's going to wake up next to a dead cat, which I'm glad didn't happen. But,
I mean, it kind of did.
well, it sort of did, yeah. So yeah, he starts digging up the cat. Kirsten is in a room. She does some art. This is kind of later on in the night. She realizes that her hand is healed, which is pretty cool. And then she goes to bed and is awoken in the night by a scratching at the window. And she thinks it's the cat, and she's sort of half right. but it's our elf holding her dead cat, being like, "Look what I got for you."
I know.
And it's like you chewed on it a bit because there's like
might have
red
nibbled
blood
it.
parts, so
Yeah.
it's like mashing it against
Yeah.
the window.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Also, like I've mentioned before, I'm a creepy ass bitch. I know that once
There's 2 rats on this couch right now.
Yeah.
these are my personal rats, okay? These are home brought. Well, this is my home. This is home having rats, okay? These are my friends.
I don't know if we mentioned that you did all the decorating for us because this
I
is your house.
did.
Yeah.
We got all this. I mean, we talked about this.
Yeah.
This.
The elf on the shelf in a almost noose.
Yeah. Candle.
We got a nice skull.
And multiple rats and
Yeah.
lights.
Yeah.
So a comfy, cozy Christmas with the video cult.
Yep. But yeah, what was I going on about? Sorry, I'm like three.
No,
Aperol, I am
we're
3 Aperol
struggling at this
spritzes
point.
in. Like the next, the further we go, we're
you know
gonna
what?
be like,
I think we're. If you can't remember, it wasn't important. We move on.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only way we get through. All right.
oh, sorry, I just remembered. So basically,
Hey, it was important.
it was important because basically, it seemed like there was like a lot more blood than there should be because when you die, your heart stops pumping the blood. So when you get cut open, there's less blood pouring out because
Nothing to pump it.
it's not pumping it through. So basically, you just get a bunch of congealed little jelly.
Cool.
Yeah. I was gonna go to mortuary school.
You would have been a fantastic mortician.
I know.
So everyone's up in the kitchen after Kirsten screams, and we kind of catch up with the crew here. Her mother is as sympathetic as usual. Kirsten's like, "I saw a troll. This is what I saw," and of course, her mother is very dismissive. Her grandpa, however, seems to know what's up here.
Well, the mother's like, it must have been a raccoon.
Yes.
She's very on about the raccoon. And then once the mother and the grandfather get alone and he's like trying to like pick at her about it, the mother's just like, you and your damn elves.
Yeah.
He's like, must have been an elf.
Yeah.
Must have been uns elf.
So the
That was
yeah.
like a weird German Scott. I'm sorry, folks. Like I said, I'm like the third Aperol in.
We're not going to, I don't think any, we're going to think the German accent's coming and each of us are going to have some other weird thing come out. And I'm here for it.
I can't wait to watch or listen to this episode back because
God.
Oh my god.
it's gonna be great. The grandfather seems to know what's up here. Kirsten, she goes back to bed, and then we get that conversation between the grandfather and the mom. At which point she admits she killed the cat and seems somewhat proud of herself.
Yeah.
And
Because she's saying this to the grandfather, because he's
Yes.
just like, no, it must have been an elf. And she was just like, no,
I
I killed the cat. And
Yeah.
like says it a couple times and
Yeah.
shit, like just to really like hammer it
At
home.
first, I thought like Kirsten was still in the room, and I was like, "Why?"
I thought there was gonna be like
Yeah.
a bump bump.
Yeah.
I
but
thought
no.
I was like, "Why is she not grabbing her by her hair?" and
we
beating
do
the shit
get
out
an
of her?
actual dun 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 or later in the movie, which is
Yeah.
sure.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But we don't get her giving her mom a swirly for
No.
killing her cat.
No.
so.
We Kirsten goes back to bed. We get that conversation, and then the grandfather is there. He's touching that same stone on the mantle that Kirsten was earlier. He looks upset, and then back to Kirsten where she's tossing and turning as the elf is staring up outside. He's kind of by their fence, their white picket fence, and just kind of staring up longingly.
Where are you, Chris? Why can't I elf you?
Why can't I help this girl?
So then we get to the next day where Kirsten is serving Mike at the restaurant. This is where they kind of meet, but you get the idea that he's come in before and she's served him before.
Yeah. And dude's sitting there with a fucking carton of Camels.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And something that I've been on about, maybe even talked about on the podcast before. I know I've said to you guys before we watched this movie that this guy has a fucking cigarette in his hand every frame of this movie.
It's
Except for when
wild.
he's dressed as Santa.
Yeah.
I noticed. But every other time he's lighting one, it's either lit or he's putting one out.
It's like
constant.
it's like in our great maritime icons, the Trailer Park Boys with Julian, who has like a
Smokes.
yeah. Or no, he has like a continuous like rum and coke in his hand.
Oh,
yeah,
Julian
yeah.
always has the rum and
Yeah.
coke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's wild. You'll see some pseudo action scenes in this movie, and Mike doing some stuff where he's either sneaking or like he's about to be in a gunfight or something, and he's still just
already
got
a
it.
cigarette still going.
My dad, if he's ever in a
mall
gun
Santa.
if he's ever a mall Santa / gets in a gunfight, he always have a cigarette in his hand.
So Kirsten, of course, she's upset and she's doing a bad job of faking it at work. And Mike picks up on this and he's telling her to cheer up and stuff. He's got a really bad argument that his life is shitty, so she shouldn't feel bad because a lot of people's lives are shitty. So don't worry about it. That seemed to be his
Are you
argument.
depressed? How about just stop being sad?
Yeah,
Like,
have you
fuck,
tried that?
man.
Yeah.
I do love
Have you
that-
tried
yeah.
going outside?
Yeah, I do. I love that his dialogue is very like a man to a woman. Like, where's that
absolutely.
smile? Like,
Yeah.
how come you don't got a smile for me?
Everything short of that he gets to. Yeah.
Oh man, that was a lot when I used to work at Video Difference, and this old guy would always come in, and he goes like, "Can you take a compliment?" I was like, "Depends on what it is." And he goes like, "You have a lovely smile." I'm like, "Thank you." And then he would always be like, "Can you take a..." I'm like, "Depends on what you're gonna say." I'm still waiting for the day if I ever run into that guy again, he's gonna say something incredibly raunchy.
Yeah, he's just waiting for the time when he
Absolutely.
could catch you like outside
Yeah.
after that midnight shift.
Yeah.
Here's what I really thought. So they kind of have their
They have
little-
a conversation
little
about dead
combo-
pets and snow.
moment. And our manager comes back.
Yes, Hugh comes back in and he's semi panicked and he's just like, "Hey, do you want a job?" And Mike's like, "Are you serious?" "Yeah, I totally do." And he's like, "Come with me." And it turns out that Mike is gonna get the Santa position after our previous Santa got his dick. No, his balls, just his balls cut off.
Yeah.
Got stabbed in the dick at least. And
eunuched to death.
yeah, so we cut to a child peeing on Mike as Santa, and he takes it pretty well, I think.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
trying to be like,
He's trying to be-
ho, 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 boy. Like,
Yeah.
kind of reaction. But I love when he goes, because we cut to him like cleaning himself in the break room where that other guy died.
There's
'Cause-
still an outline.
Outline!
outline of him
And he's
on the
talking
ground.
to the outline because
Yeah.
he knew the guy.
Yeah.
First you're Santa, then you die.
Yeah.
And in my case, you get pissed on, is what he says.
Also, like you would
Holy
feel
shit.
like
Yeah.
you would feel that room would at least be closed. Like they would have like, I don't know, a crate out back for the mall Santa just to sit down and have a cigarette break.
Yeah.
But no, it's just, oh, you remember the mall Santa that just got murdered yesterday? Well, there you go. It's a waste of a good break room.
Yeah.
Which it just looks like a green room, like not even a green room. It just looks like a weird.
Mostly empty room.
It looks like a concrete room that has a sink in it, like a fucking gas station has.
Yeah.
Or like almost like a laundry room.
Yeah,
Like-
very laundry room
Yeah.
vibes. Also, I'll ruin something for everybody. I worked at a gas station.
God, that's so. That checks out.
Yeah,
It
I
really
worked
is.
at a gas station. I worked back shift at a gas
Yeah,
station
no,
as
that's
well.
That's what I
know,
imagine.
Checks out. I had to refill the slushy machines. I worked back shift. I can tell you, my friends, I did not go to the sink they told me to go to. I would refill it from the bathroom sink because fuck everybody.
You. Oh god.
Anarchist.
I hated working there, and I was like, well, don't anybody drink slushies in real life.
Oh no. All right.
Cuts to like
Yeah. So
Nathan and I just sucking back on a.
Oh, absolutely,
It's
yeah.
that
the big
it's
slip.
that gas station down there, down the street, by the way. I lived there. I was a long time ago.
Okay. Trying to think back.
How many slushies did you have from that gas station?
I worked there 2010.
Okay.
Oh, that was before my time.
There you go.
Okay, there we go. We're
I'm
safe.
safe.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
safe.
but it was that one here.
Yeah. So he's talking to the dead mall Santa, making quips, and Mike finds a strange symbol, kind of carved into the concrete floor, by the outline of our dead Santa, and he's not sure what it is, and then we go back to Kirsten's house where her grandfather is meeting with another German man, and I don't know if we've mentioned this, but her grandfather does have a movie German accent at the very least.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing I was gonna say that is like when he finds there's like the symbol on the floor that he kind of clears out. That is like the first time we find out he used to be a detective.
Right.
He continues to have this like monologue where he's just like, "No, I can't be doing this. The detective times are behind me. You can't be
Santa
getting,
now."
Yeah, I'm Santa now. I can't be getting involved in this. So we do get a little bit. I did want to just at least mention that his little detective speech to himself was pretty great. But yes, continue. Yeah, we're with very Hollywood German grandpa.
Yeah. And so this other German guy, he knows about the elf, and he has a stone that kind of fits with the stone that they had up on the mantle that her and the grandfather have been all like touching on. And the other German guy, he mentions Kirsten and her importance in the New Order, and her grandfather then he's like, I don't want to get her involved in this, and he draws out a Luger pistol.
Yeah.
And then the German's just like, "What, are you gonna shoot me? Like, what is this? What is this even?" And they go back and forth a little bit, but he takes the gun from the grandfather and then tells him,
give a shit, throws it on the
Yeah,
desk.
he doesn't-
Like,
yeah.
fuck you, you're not
You're
gonna
not
shoot me,
gonna
you bitch.
Yeah. And then tells him that the plans are going ahead with or without them. So this is setting up for our dramatic reveals later in this movie, because we're gonna get some dramatic reveals that come bang, bang, bang in a little while. And we cut to a sketchy dude with a ponytail, and we'll see a lot more of him coming up, watching Kirsten drop a tray of donuts at her work.
Oh god.
He looks like one of those like failed magicians in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Not exactly like he's not like that like your standard magician. He's an illusionist.
Yes. Well, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I got that Ravine poster up at my place.
Yes.
Yes. The mustache and pointy goatee. Yeah, it's very that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but it's more like a Chris Angel sort of deal.
Yeah, in my notes, I was just like, I just kind of called him Euro trash because he kind of just seemed like it.
I'm und mind freak.
I'm the mind freak.
But yeah, he's kind of the classic. He's got the little like mustache going on. He's got the ponytail in the back with the black hair. So yeah, he's watching her. Kirsten, she's back at work.
He
she
also
drops
looks like he should be on a registry somewhere.
Oh, absolutely.
If we're beyond this scene, I do have one of the lines from that scene
go for it.
down, because they don't get full into the lore of it quite yet.
No.
But there's clearly was something that Nazis did or did not like about elves, because he says, when there is no more room in hell, the elves will walk the earth.
Oh,
Yes.
my God.
And then that's like his peace outline, and he leaves, and then we go to the next scene.
He repeats that line a couple of times in the movie too. Yeah. Kirsten, she's just clumsy. She clutches real butterfingers. She drops a tray of donuts, picks them up, puts them back on the tray, and then kind of we see that as we kind of like zoom out on the scene that Brooke and Amy are there, and I think it's Amy that tries to take a donut and gets her hands slapped and so it's back, but she's very clearly going to serve that tray tray of donuts to people,
because she like first collects them back all up onto the plate and then starts rearranging them. And classic for the video cult, gonna make you hate food.
Absolutely.
The sounds of the donuts being rearranged, like sloppy, weird, wet sounds, along with the dry paper that she's setting them on. Just weird, wet donut sounds.
Not
are being
great.
Done. Yeah,
It's
awful.
like that,
Did not want to eat those donuts.
yeah.
They might as well have dropped them on a bathroom floor.
Yeah.
It's almost like the wet, like honey dip donuts from Tim Hortons. So
Oh,
they're like
yeah.
really wet. They're like the honey
Oh, yeah.
crawlers.
All the bread is wet at Tim Hortons these days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not okay. So that's why I don't eat at Tim Hortons. Never eat at Tim Hortons. Sponsored by Tim Hortons. Yeah, it's not.
Just us at camp day. Like, what's up, kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they're all talking, and so we get the sense they're planning a get together at the department store after it closes, and they're gonna have some
shopping mall.
Yeah, a la shopping mall. They're gonna have some boys join them, and I think it's Amy. Yeah, Amy is very into one of the boys named Dave, and so and Dave likes red apparently. So she flashes the group with just her bra, and she's like, "Oh, Dave will like this red bra." And then she makes up because Kirsten mentioned that she's just like she wants to write some poetry. Right, she's just looking for inspiration for her poetry, and Amy on the spot makes up a fun little poetry or ditty about Kevin and Dave, which is two of the boys. They're dicks. I think it was Kevin's is thick and Dave's is a yard. Is the yeah. And so I thought that was really funny. But then Brooke and Amy walk away. They're gonna come back after the store closes. And as they're walking away, Brooke asks, "Dave isn't really a yard, is it?" And Amy just deadpans, "Yeah, it is." Like, she's like, "Jesus Christ. Do you want to be impaled? Do you want to like it's going to come out the other side."
He's like a circus elephant, like in a Letterman jacket. It's like, "Sup?"
Yeah. Is Dave a horse? I don't understand.
It's a big old wiffle ball. In his pants. He's just like walking around like that. He's just like has like stuck down his legs, not even attached to his like crotch. It's just
It's
like
hanging out the bottom of the pant. But then it's also like skinny at the base and thick at the bottom. So
Oh,
it's
no.
Just like, like you said, it's like he's hiding a wiffle ball bat in his pant
Yeah.
leg. He's got to wear Jinko jeans just to get around anywhere.
Oh, truly, there is no worse fate.
There was a guy like that. There was a guy who like injected silicone or something into his dick, and he's if you look up the blob penis, he has it looks like a sea creature. He's a guy. He's just like that was like his fetish was was injecting stuff. So now it's this weird giant blob that he needs like a weird strap thing to hold up.
Oh no!
What are you? Okay, what are you doing? What are you doing over there? You're looking it up. You turn your safe search off. This looks too safe of a search.
Let's see. Let's go to
I'll find it if we're doing this. I'll find it. I'll find it real quick.
Can't do this.
Okay, do it.
No, we'll do it on the break,
Okay.
and then we'll come back from
Yeah.
the break and we can review.
It's honestly it's about time for a break.
Yeah.
Is
But
it about time?
It is about time for a break. When
we're
we
gonna take another
come
break.
back, we have a fun little party in the department store that goes
Yep.
horribly wrong thanks to
We're
Nazis.
maybe at the 37-minute mark of the
Oh
movie.
my god!
By the way,
Longest episode of all time.
God.
All right, folks, we'll see you in a bit.
All right.
let's do it.
Life's a bitch, Eddie. First you send and then you die. In my case, they piss on you. I hope this doesn't start to represent a trend.
I need it.
Welcome back, everybody, and it's time for some more elves. You'll only ever see the one elf, but
Yep.
elves. This is what we're doing right now.
Also, I think each time I've come back, I feel like I'm pouring the same amount, but the drink feels stronger.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Jesus.
This is
Yep.
this is how it works. Yeah. And so when we left off, the girls were getting ready for their night. They're having a secret party in the department store after close.
I haven't heard that before.
No.
All I could think about was them like walking past the group from like shopping mall. It's like,
hey.
oh, where are you guys going? Oh, we're gonna go fuck in the furniture store. Oh, cool. Yeah, we're hanging out down here in lingerie. Yeah.
As well as the girls, we get Mike. We get a scene with Mike. He's leaving for the day. He says a nice goodbye to the chalk outline or the tape outline of the dead guy. And as he's going out the main door, he puts a piece of tape over the door latch.
And he also unplugs the alarm. So,
yes.
Yeah. That comes in later.
Yes. Then we get a scene where Kirsten, she's leaving as well. She goes to do the same thing and then realizes she doesn't need to because she's like, what is this? That's a definite human sneeze right there. Absolutely.
I hope that got picked up on the microphone. That is the death knell before an aneurysm type of like sneeze.
Because I always hold in my sneezes because I'm like, I don't want to bring attention to myself sneezing. And because I sneeze a lot. Like, I'm sure the cultists have heard from our Masters of the Universe.
Oh, yeah, you were in a rough spot that one.
And just a quick thing, I just basically picked up this sweater from, like, the top of my dresser. So this has, like, 12 months of dust on it, so I'm suffering for my craft.
All right.
Yeah. As we all do.
We do. We suffer so for this podcast.
Oh, exactly.
So yeah, Kirsten goes. She leaves for the day. Mike is he's doing some investigating because he can't get that symbol out of his head. The symbol that he saw next to the chalk outline. So he goes to the library. As he's going in, there's a kind of a end of the world crazy dude that yells at him as he goes into the library. There's some mild foreshadowing there where he's like, "Are you ready for them?" But we don't know what they are. And he goes in, asks the most stereotypical looking librarian I've ever seen, where you
Is
can
that
find.
what you looked like when you worked in a library?
That's exactly what I
Did you
looked like.
have like the knitted sweater just like draped over
Up,
top?
Yeah, I had
of
the
you?
bun.
Updo.
Yeah.
Yep, dude.
Yeah,
the glasses
the
with the
glasses.
chains on them.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
it's honestly it's part of the dress code. You
It
will
is.
get fired if you don't. And so he asks this librarian about a book that he saw once in like university, and she's just like, "Oh yeah, it's in the occult section 666."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tee-hee.
Now, as a librarian, do you know what's wrong with this scene?
God, so much. Well, American libraries often use the Library of Congress system, which would never be just 3 numbers. Even if you were using the Dewey Decimal System, you're going to have a number range, not a specific number.
I looked up the Dewey Decimal System. 130 to something is occult
It's
and stuff.
a religion,
666 is ceramics.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's send him to the ceramic section.
Yeah.
Hoping that-
Yeah.
Maybe she thought you're
We're gonna make a
use it.
pot that will trap the elf.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes there. He flips through the book a little bit, finds the symbol that he's looking for, which is basically a question mark without the dot at the end with a line through it. And that'll come up again and again in this movie, so it's worth saying. It's like a
It
little
was the same symbol he saw on the
whoop.
floor.
Yeah.
It's there. I don't know if we've seen it anywhere else, but we will.
we will see it in a bunch of places,
It
yeah.
comes around.
Yeah. And my note here was, being a former library worker, I do miss the time where you could shush people in a library, because he gets shushed by a woman and shushes her right back, which I always
Does he
liked.
still have a cigarette though? That's the most important
I
question.
just kind of assumed. At some point I stopped seeing the cigarette because it was always like, it was just part of him, right? It was part of the character.
There is a couple times where he goes in places and people tell him he can't
He
smoke.
can't
So
smoke
that's
there,
when
yeah.
it's signified for us. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think he has one here.
Yeah,
in
I
this
don't think
moment.
so. And we get back to the shop at the department store where Brooke and Amy are sitting outside, kind of shivering. Kirsten lets them in. She shows up, and they're here to party with some boys. And shortly after that, Mike arrives. But Brooke, as she was coming in, took the tape down.
Like, why would you? I would feel like there would be some basis of communication. Like, you're like, oh,
You would think Brooke is a little slow on the uptake throughout this movie, though. So
I think before the boys get there, we get them trying on the lingerie scene.
we do. Before that, though, we do get Mike, who shows up.
Mike,
because he's also trying to get it.
I was thinking Mike's one of the boys.
Just one of the boys.
All I think is Dan Haggerty. I just can't think of his real name. I can't think of Mike. What?
Yeah.
who the fuck is Mike?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so he arrives, but the tape is down, so the latch is shut, and he's stuck outside. So he goes to look for something to pry the door open, and then we get a scene where the girls have gathered kind of by like the makeup area of the department store, and Kirsten's like, "Why did you take Brooke's like, oh, I took the tape down," and she's like, "How are the boys gonna get in, dummy?" And so she goes and puts the tape back. Mike finds like this little metal pole to jimmy the door open, but when he goes back, he kind of gets it in there, and then he's just like, "Oh, it's fine," and he looks at the tape and he's dumbfounded.
Yep.
We go back to the girls, where Amy has found lingerie
Which
that
is
looked to me like the cross between like a wedding dress and a superhero outfit, because it has a cape, right?
Very
Like,
cape.
It is also like one of the most dressed lingerie ever.
it is. She's very covered up.
It seems like a style of the time, though. It feels very much like that 80s,
Yeah.
like there's extra flair, especially the cape thing. Like, it's like there's the inner part and then there's the outer part. It seems like a thing of that time.
Yeah,
Was the
it's
style
quite a
at
look.
the time.
The style of the times.
But what do you guys think that she called her? Because I had a disagreement with my girlfriend about what she calls her here.
Honestly, I couldn't make it out.
No, neither
You
could
know?
I.
So I
did you
thought
think?
she called her a slut dog.
Slut dog?
Carrie thought that she called her a sled dog. And
Ooh,
both
seem
fit in like their kind of things they say, but I was like, I feel like she's saying slut dog, but sled dog also has some other weird connotations.
Yeah,
Like she's
that's a good
pulling
point.
like a sled through the Alaskan wilderness.
Yeah.
Like what is she doing that connotates?
Gotta
sled dog?
deliver the antibiotics to the children. Yeah. It's like, you're looking real Balto right now.
Okay,
real straight Balto.
Thank you, because I was about to ask you what story is that?
Yeah.
Because I remember that story from my childhood, and I couldn't place that.
I was obsessed with that movie as a kid.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I because I had a husky as a family
okay.
pet.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
And I remember we were watching it, and then like I just remember like my mom crying because she's like, Chibo's real smart. Chibo was our dog. I was like, she's so smart. She could do that too. My dad's like looking at my dog, and like, yeah, she's real smart. The dog's like her legs up, and she's like trying to like chew her privates and stuff like that.
Chew on her vagina. It's like, I'm gonna go eat the couch later.
Yeah.
Want to hear how high pitch I can scream? I'm a husky.
Oh my god. There's two huskies that live in my building, and I live in just a small 2-story apartment building that was converted out of like commercial units, so all the apartments are real weird. And they live on the bottom floor, and every morning when their owners leave to go to work, both of the huskies have a full-on temper tantrum. And you can hear them normally, but you can hear them through the pipes. So if you're in the bathroom, if you're in the kitchen or something,
my
you
God.
open up a cupboard, you're just like, oh, I guess they've gone to work, because they're
What
just
time
screaming.
what time do they go to work?
7:30.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's okay. I'm up way before that.
Well, like I'm a very late riser. Like unless I have work that day, like I'm very late riser. So the minute I hear a dog screaming at like 7:30 in the morning, I'm gonna try to turn those that dog into a fur coat.
Gabby's gonna get the pillowcase, get the toilet.
Yeah, get that
Full on husky.
trying to husky, and I pick it up, and I'm trying to like
Full empty tub next to you, which was clearly the better option.
Yeah.
No, just what you were saying about hearing it in the pipes. The only time I ever really hear people in my building is when I'm in the bathroom and I hear my neighbor, because clearly our bathrooms are together, so I just hear it echoing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
this guy loves playing fucking Call of Duty, and he does not give his teammates any fucking slack. So I only ever hear just Call of Duty screaming when I'm in the bathroom. Just hear this guy. I'm like, man, I feel bad those few times I brought my Google Home into the bathroom to listen to music. He heard some real gay shit. Just in there like, I am a material girl.
of course, I am material girl. I listen to true crime podcasts in the shower.
Oh boy, you would.
Yeah, that actually checks out 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Amy, she's
when
got
I'm
this.
when I'm most wet and vulnerable.
Oh, God. Just getting hyped up, ready for it, ready to just give someone a fucking German suplex the second they come in and just.
Yeah. Nathan, you okay, buddy?
No, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. Oh God.
Yeah, just pussy out moonsault, ready for the bad guys.
Yep. I've got
So
I've got a taser in the fridge. Fridge.
So I think if we go back to the library.
Wait! In the fridge? Are you Doug? Do you keep it by your coat in the freezer? In your tape recorder? What is going on?
I meant to say shower. I don't know why I said
That's
fridge.
only slightly more sane, but I love it. Oh my God.
I don't know why. Anyways.
Yeah. So Amy, in the movie we're talking about, she's got this crazy lingerie. Kirsten has her own getup, which is more of like a ballet leotard.
Yeah,
As
it's
far as I
like
can
a
tell.
swimsuit, but it has like this tulle like skirt that she put on over it. And I don't know what it is, but it's supposed to be really sexy, and I'm just like, you look like a chick in the 2020 trying to dress for an 80s party.
Yeah,
I was
but they
get-
do. Yeah,
I was getting kind of like aerobics video vibes from her,
Yeah.
right? Like one of the backup dancers for Jane Fonda or something. So we leave the girls for a moment, and Mike, he's in one of the back rooms, so he's a ways from them, and he kind of sits down to read about the occult, and then I think he might hear something. I'm not sure, but he gets up anyway, and he wanders kind of out. And we see that the elf is here.
Yeah.
Maybe never left. I don't know. But he's in one of the back rooms as well. Mike looks right at the elf at some time, but we have to assume that there is darkness that the movie is not showing us, because much like the Unborn, it's dark scenes. You're just like, well, this is clearly lit. Like, it's just clearly lit. Like, he's right here.
It's another video cult staple.
Yeah.
Unborn Things both did it. Just of like, well, we're gonna
It's-
gonna fake the lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone's like, oh, it's dark in here. And I'm just like, well, I'll take your word for it, I guess, because I can see everything. But sure. So the elf is there. Then we go back to the girls. They're doing their makeup at the makeup counter.
Are they using like the samples, or
I thought they were using the samples, I think.
If I were to go in, and this is just myself, like if I were to go and my friend's like, cool, let's have like a cool like party at this at the department store I work at, and there's like, obviously there's no cameras.
No, this is before
Yeah.
cameras.
I would be stuffing stuff into my purse.
I think that was their intention.
Yeah.
I think they certainly intended it, and I get what you're saying. It's like, why are you using the testers when
Exactly.
you're gonna piece out with stuff like
Yeah.
Yeah.
like something else someone else already used?
Yeah.
They've got Kirsten's got a new name for the group, which is the Masters Without Slaves.
That's what I heard it.
I
Which made me feel somewhat uncomfortable, I think.
Yeah.
It was a strange, because I was the stupid girl I didn't know what it meant.
No,
I'm
I didn't
not
know what
sure
it
where
meant.
was
I
going.
was totally with Brooke, where she was like, "Do you get it?" And Brooke was like, "I don't get it." And I was like,
meant
"Thanks,
to
Brooke.
look
I
it
don't
up.
get it either."
Yeah, I have a pretty great screen grab because I took a few screen grabs every time anytime I paused and there was something weird. So I have a few screen grabs. I'll throw them up in this episode. We'll get to see, but I'll show you guys. Yeah, I have a good screen grab of the three of them, like trying to figure out this masters without slaves thing. I don't know.
Yeah. So Mike has come out to like the main show floor here, but he's there. It's 2 floors at least, this department store. So he's on one of the upper floors.
Oh, and one of the girls is like, "I'm hungry. I'm gonna go back for those donuts."
Yeah.
No, at first she was just like, let's
floor
order a
donuts.
pizza. It's like, dummy, you can't order pizza to a place that we're like, kind of robbing.
Breaking into
Yeah.
Like, I remember floor donuts.
Yeah, they look great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mike sees the girls from above, and he heads down to talk to them. Yeah, I think it's either Brooke or Amy. I think it's Brooke because Brooke's usually like the kind of a bit of more of the dummy, and she wants to order pizza, but then it's like, oh, grab a donut instead. Mike he comes downstairs and interrupts them, and Kirsten recognizes him as the Santa, the new Santa, and I think it's Brooke that has a real kind of breakdown here, being like, "Oh, you can't tell our parents." So it's like but Kirsten's kind of like, "Oh no, you're not supposed to be here either," kind of thing. And
Yeah, because you remember the tape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she, so they kind of make a deal. I think it might be Amy. I'm gonna conflate Amy and Brooke. They're basically interchangeable.
Yeah.
But one of them says,
Yeah.
when Kirsten makes her point, one of them says, "Cool Mexican standoff," which I thought was hilarious. But basically, they make a deal to stay out of each other's way.
As long as they don't steal or they clean up after themselves or all
Yes,
that
Mike
stuff.
has some rules. Basically, it's
don't
just like
steal anything. Clean after yourselves. We won't say anything.
Yeah.
And then they say something to him on the way out where, because they're like, I don't believe in Santa. And
Yeah.
It's like, doesn't your generation believe in anything?
Yeah, he
anymore?
gives them a
It's
real,
they're like 19
Yeah.
or 20.
Yeah.
Like, they can not believe in Santa if they want to. You didn't. Probably got like whipped with a belt when you were like 7 and stopped believing in Santa, you old fuck.
Oh my god.
We head back to Kirsten's home, where the grandfather is asking where Kirsten is. Her mother says she's at a friend's house, and he kind of like wheels his way into the study where he spends most of his time. And there's now 2 German guys. There's the original German guy and a new German guy. I think mullet German guy.
The sex offender magician.
No, I do know sex offender magician. I think it's the other.
Oh.
It's the other. It's the one with the mullet, the blonde
The
mullet.
mullet, and
Yeah.
he's like super tall and big.
Yeah. Again, audience,
We are for the big.
this is what we've got to go on with these
Yeah.
guys.
We're also like a couple drinks in, so
More than maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're along for the ride.
Yeah. We started off like nice and sober,
We
but
did.
now,
Yeah,
now
that was a
we're,
long
like,
time ago.
Yeah.
It was a long time.
You
ago.
can see the lighting changes. It's dark
It's
outside
'cause
now.
it's dark outside. We were using some natural lighting. It's all gone now.
Let's keep this train running. Let's
Yeah,
go. Let's
yeah,
go.
we're going.
We're going.
So we got 2 Germans, and so they know that she's not at a friend's house because they've kind of put her under very lax surveillance, I guess, because they've lost her, but they know that she's not at her friend's house. So we're getting a little bit building up on all of these Germans here, and now we cut back to outside of the department store where we see 3 boys walking. And talking about if they're going to get laid and whom they would like to fuck. And so this is Kevin, Dave, and other dude, I guess. One of them's also like, oh, I don't want Kirsten. She's weird.
Or she's a bitch.
Or she's a
Kirsten's
bitch. She might be a bitch. And then I was
Yeah.
like, oh, you're just scared of her, that kind of thing. So they're just doing boys stuff. And
Just boys being dudes.
just boys being dudes. Dudes being boys.
Just men being things.
Guys being men. Yeah.
She had her own thoughts one time, and it really emasculated me. I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
can't have that.
No.
Yeah. But they come across the door, which is now locked. Because when Mike came in, he removed the tape again. We had this whole tape thing where the tape kept getting placed and removed and placed and removed. But anyway, it's locked now. And so they kind of argue about it for a bit, and where one of them's like, "Oh, I got a crowbar or a pry bar in my truck. Let's go get that," kind of thing, because
work smarter, not harder.
That's right. Yeah,
I think they say about it.
Yeah, I mean, horny guys will do just about anything. So this all checked out to me.
I'm surprised at that. With horny guys, I'm surprised they didn't just punch the glass in.
Like a pair of like rabid dogs.
Yeah, real Dawn of the Dead shit. Like, I mean, inside the mall.
I got that good cushion there.
Back inside, the girls have all picked out tents that they're gonna like take their chosen boys into.
Tent fucking keeps me through the night.
Which is less gross than the Chopping Mall's like demo mattress.
Demo mattress and demo couch and stuff. It truly is.
It truly is, yeah.
Anybody who buys a demo tent is already going to take it somewhere fucking filthy. So
absolutely,
whatever,
yeah. I mean, the whole point of a tent is you take it somewhere on the ground and like it gets all messy and it's fine.
Yeah. Bear's already fucked there, so who cares if people fucked on the through my thin tarp.
So Brooke and Kirsten have a side conversation here while Amy chooses the red tent because Dave fucking loves red and he will fuck her all the harder in the red tent. But Brooke and Kristen go and Brooke asks Kristen,
if it's a green tent, no. It's,
no. Dave can't get it up unless it's red.
No.
Yeah.
He's very limp in the green tent.
Yeah, he actually can't see any other color. It's really tragic.
Just red. He should see a doctor.
He should. He's too busy fucking with his thick cock. Because we know Dave is thick. Wait, or is Dave? No, Dave. Which one was a yard long?
I don't think it matters. Either way, so much blood is going to propagate the cock that like the color doesn't get into their eyes. I don't know where the biology fits in, but it does somewhere. That like there's a give and take with the human body. Eventually, like you can give so much, but then science will taketh away.
God giveth you a big cock, but God taketh away your eyesight.
That's it. So yeah, but
Stevie Wonder's just like skeletons in your closet, itching to come outside.
Oh my god.
All right,
okay.
I'm sorry.
Brooke and Kirsten. They all get together.
All six of them. Three alternate versions of the same K woman and two other fucking dumbasses.
Oh man.
They all have a conversation. Oh my god.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We're doing it.
What do we have for time on this break?
We're good. We're at 2:05. Stay with us, folks. We're at 2:05. We got so much more.
Specifically for this record because we know this camera can only take so much.
We'll go to about 2:20.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, they're having a side conversation about sex, and Brooke is like, "Oh, you're not really gonna do it though," and then Kirsten's like, "No, I'm saving myself for the right guy."
And she's like sprinkling like asbestos on a tree.
And this was the true horror of this movie. This was the scariest thing in the movie.
Brooke
was them talking about their expectations of sex.
Brooke is just like, because Kirsten's like, Brooke says, "Oh, well, like, how do you like say no, or like, how do you not do it?" And then Kirsten's like, "You just say no. They don't know what to do. Like the boys don't know what to do. They can't handle the rejection kind of thing." And Brooke is just like, "Oh, that sounds like hard." I don't know. I might just go through. Like, I might just fuck this random dude rather than say no.
Just to avoid the confrontation. I felt really bad for that character at that moment. I was just like, ugh,
it was surprisingly dark.
Upsetting.
I was like, it's like, an uncomfortable scene.
Like this movie has like some like because we keep riffing on it, but there's some parts of the movie it's viscerally upsetting.
Yeah, it's gross. I mean, the Santa thing, like there's times where like there is something that just
feels tangible and
Yeah.
wet about it. It's
Yeah.
just like ugh,
Most of the scenes
makes
with the
you feel
mother.
gross. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that too. Yeah.
This it's probably the most upsetting since Unborn, maybe, but I don't know. I had more fun with this one than Unborn. I gotta say. So they have that conversation, and then they hear kind of banging on the door and or the thing, and it's either Amy or Brooke that's just like, oh my, like the boys are really like they're hot under the collar, like they're they're horn dogs kind of
Yeah,
thing.
and the mic goes
Like Vikings coming to take our innocence. They're here.
Yeah. And this just like straight on, like they are putting their whole body weight into like opening the door. And
Oh yeah, they're slamming on it. It's
yeah.
And someone we get a scene where we see the door burst open and we think it's gonna be the boys, but oh no, it's not the boys. It's one of the boys dead.
Yeah.
But it's the Germans. It's all three of them. It's
Oops.
The two...
All Nazis.
Yeah.
It's with the two we saw with the grandfather and then the one guy that was kind of spying on Kirsten earlier, and the alarm goes off, which, audience, I really hope you like the sound of that alarm playing in the background, because we'll hear that for a little while yet. And they burst in on the scene.
I would also feel for as long as the scene goes, I would feel like the police would have showed up sooner.
You'd think someone would have heard it,
Yeah.
right? Like, this is small town. Like, this is like a main street kind of
Yeah.
thing. The police very eventually get there, but we've got like 15 minutes of shit to get through before that happens.
Yeah.
So that goes off. One person does hear the alarm though, and that's Mike, who was back in his little Mike cave in the back rooms, and he goes to check it out, and he finds one of the boys. He finds the dead boy that we saw when the door burst open in the doorway, and he hears the alarm going off, and the girls haven't twigged this yet. They think it's just the boys being super horny, right? Like they got in and they triggered the alarm and stuff. So Amy, she's so into Dave. Like she is, a lot of her character is just like talking about Dave. Mm-hmm. And she's so horny that she throws off the cape part of her lingerie.
Yeah.
And she gets in the elevator and she actually closes the door on Brooke.
I like that taking the cape off's going to make the elevator go faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she goes down to meet meet the Dave. She locks Brooke out of the elevator, and Brooke's like, "Oh, like I'm getting too real."
Take the stairs like a fucking
Yeah.
plebe.
Then we get the Germans. We get a scene of them looking around the store, kind of trying to find Kirsten. But who they do find is Amy, who is come down on the elevator, and they kind of all pile in. Amy, of course, very upset at this. She's screaming. She doesn't know what's going on, type of thing. They hold her at gunpoint and they basically interrogate her, asking her where Kirsten is. She's just kind of screaming and incoherent, though. She's panicking. So they very calmly shoot her in the head. We cut to Kirsten, who is kind of trying to figure out what is going on. She sees the elf in the store, which causes her to be like, uh-oh, and she goes and ducks behind a counter. My note here is Mike just can't stop smoking, because Mike is doing his own investigations at this point, but he's got his smoke.
He's got his cigarette there, and he's not letting it like go.
He's not, for love or money, he will not leave.
I wrote
the
down
cigarette.
action sig because there's a full on like front on angle of him like running downstairs while he's got the split cigarette in his hand. It just doesn't look dignified. I think
It does
really
not.
where
No.
it all comes from.
No.
It looks like it looks like my father who's like running down his apartment building to like grab, I don't know, the takeout that we just ordered. In his hand.
So Mike, he accidentally runs into the Germans, who open fire on him, but he runs and he ducks behind the same counter that Kirsten is sheltering behind, and This display, I love this because this is one of the few kind of like visual gags that the movie gives us. But on the counter, it says gift ideas for mom. This counter is full of firearms. It's full of guns. Which is fantastic.
Hey, just because it's not your mom, I mean, you know,
No.
someone's mom is
Someone's
into
mom
it,
is
but
super
yeah.
into it. Yeah. Yeah.
Some Wisconsin mom somewhere.
So it's shootout time. We get a great scene here where it's Mike versus the Germans, kind of shooting at each other. The Germans, of course, they don't want to hit Kirsten, so they're being a little bit more careful. Mike's trying to fend them off. While this is happening, Brooke is running around aimlessly, and she finds Amy in the elevator. We get some more scenes of the shootout between the Germans and Mike. Then Brooke, she wanders into one of the back rooms, which is the mannequin dumping room, which every store clearly has. And we get a beautiful shot of the elf.
Tried to get mannequins from a store?
I worked in a department. I worked at the Bay in Dartmouth, and honestly, we had an upstairs section above the main floor that was pretty much that mannequin room.
Yeah. When the Sears closed at the a Halifax shopping center, me and my ex at the time, my partner at the time, whatever, went. And we were like, yeah, let's go try and get a mannequin. And it was just this is well after the point where they were just selling everything.
Oh, yeah, they sell the shelves.
It was
and stuff,
they were selling the shelves. People just, it was that day that they were just selling all the superfluous stuff. And I showed up and I was like, do you have any mannequins left? And they laughed in my fucking face. They laughed at me. No. I was like, well, okay.
Hot commodities.
All right. Yeah, see you
Either
later.
hot commodities, or they thought you were gonna do something with it for sex things.
Yeah. I can only get it up when she doesn't have a head and only a left arm. I'm really into the movie Boxing Helena. Nazi shootout.
Nazi shootout. Yeah. So that's going on. Brooke wanders into this mannequin room. The elf is posed there with the mannequins, which, considering the puppet is basically almost inarticulate, makes a lot of sense that he would do this.
Yeah.
But she sees him and he kind of turns a little bit, and she's
wait, this isn't a spirit Halloween. Oh God!
Oh no! So she runs away.
It also. This is where it has a Christmas hat on, right?
Not, it's coming. Yeah.
Oh
well, whatever. You've
It's
all
very
seen the
soon.
image.
Yeah.
Blew the lead on that.
And so she runs down a hallway and closes a door that is immediately thrown open. But then we cut back to Kirsten and Mike. Mike's kind of telling her his escape plan. We go back to Brooke, and there's a lot of running and bumping into things. And the elf follows her. But then he gets mildly distracted and maybe a little bit freaked out by these Christmas toys. He kind of stops to look at them. And I thought that he felt uncomfortable, but that was just the vibe I was getting from the elf. I really don't know.
Can't really tell because it doesn't really have any facial expression.
No, it's incapable of any sort of expression. Brooke hides under a Christmas tree. And this is where we get probably, I think, the best shot of the movie, which is, yes, the elf in the Santa hat.
Oh my God.
That's just kind of above her, that has found her. And she screams. The elf leaps, and he cuts her a couple times. He has a knife. He's actually very well versed in human weaponry.
Yeah.
He slashes her a couple of times, and then she crawls away a little bit, but then he stabs her to death. Mike and Kirsten escape. They make their escape as the Germans kind of reevaluate their plans. They stop the shootout because they don't want to hit Kirsten by mistake. And one of them makes this weird biblical reference to an angel coming to protect her, and they're like, we have to defeat this guy kind of thing. So they plan on getting rid of Mike later. So that gives them a chance to escape. As they're doing so, Kirsten finds Brooke dead. And we see that elf symbol again, the little question mark with the line, traced in blood by her body. And then we immediately cut to the aftermath, which is where we see the detective and where we get a little bit more backstory for Mike. Because Mike is there, of course, and the detective's going around the store, and he speaks to Mike. He learns that... Or we learn, that Mike used to be a detective, but lost his job due to alcoholism because he couldn't let it go. Couldn't just go home. Couldn't turn off the detective brain. Like every good detective can, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Which really goes
it's like
well.
A switch.
Goes well for him here, where he's like, "No, I saw a 2-foot elf."
Yeah.
he's homeless, working as a mall Santa, ex-detective, just rambling with a cigarette. And
Yes.
like, "No, I saw a 2-foot elf." Doesn't help.
Yeah. Somehow, though, the detective still gives him like 24 hours to do an do his own investigation.
Oh my God.
Which I think is grounds for dismissal for this detective.
Yeah. You're gonna let this ex-cop, homeless dude,
Can you imagine what the police chief like? He's just like, no. I gave this ex-detective alcoholic who thinks it was an elf. I gave him 24 hours to prove his case. If he doesn't do it, then I'll look into it. Like, what are we doing?
Nothing bad ever happened in 24 hours.
No, never.
No.
So yeah, and then we get Hugh, the department store manager, who comes in. He's very upset about the store. We learn that tomorrow is Christmas Eve, so this is the 23rd. And he's like, "Oh my God, we can't open the store. Is this?" And he's going after Kirsten. He's like, "You planned to steal from me and everything." And Mike comes in and he's just like, "No, she didn't. And also, I was here too.
Also,
I deserve to be fired as well."
Also, the manager is about to fucking bitch slap Kirsten.
He is.
Yeah, he definitely is. He doesn't say she wasn't planning to steal. He just is like, "Hey, maybe we don't do this right now."
Yeah.
It's more that energy.
Yes.
Because then Kirsten has the flip out where she's like, "What, you want me to clean up my friend's blood too?"
Yeah.
Because there is literally 2 of her friends that are
Yeah.
dead.
This all ends up with them both getting fired, and then Mike and Kirsten leave the department store. Mike is on the case though. His detective brain's going. He's gonna figure it out. He offers to drive Kirsten home. And she's like, "Thanks, Santa." And he's like, "Could you please call me Mike?" And she's like, "No, I don't think I will."
Yeah, I prefer to call you Santa.
Yeah, which
I don't know,
seems
I think
like
she
such
says
an
what
asshole
you said,
move.
but yeah. It is.
Yeah.
It is, but
Yeah.
he
call
told
you
you
Santa.
Mike is not a hard name. This is not. It's not uncommon. It's not a challenge for her.
I guarantee if you call a guy Mike, you're gonna get 75% chance that you got it right.
Yeah,
It seems like Mike
it's a
is
very
such
common
a
name.
popular name.
I had a great friend named Mike. He was a good guy. Good guy. I mean, he still is. I don't talk to him.
I had a friend in school. His name was Mike, and his dad was a private investigator.
I love that.
God, yes.
And he had an old cell phone number that he got, and the last 3 digits of his cell phone number were 007.
Nice.
And he was like, "I'm
Nice.
never giving this."
No, why would you?
He was a private investigator. It was awesome. Yeah, I remember we'd go it was like, "Oh, we can play in my dad's van," and there was weird foam covering things that you could put over the window that had a spot for a camera lens.
Oh my
What?
God.
In them, yeah, it would
I love that.
It'd be 2 foam pieces that would cover the camera, but then there'd be a spot for the camera lens.
Oh my God.
In the center, we'd play fort in his dad's van. His dad's a private investigator
Secret
van.
spy van.
Yeah.
That's the best
God.
thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Oh man, see, my Mike, he a good guy, made a lot of interesting mistakes. Had a short temper and an even worse judge of things you should or shouldn't do. He drifted in his mom's Oldsmobile and tore the axle off.
You have told this story on the podcast before.
It's fantastic. He was a fantastic guy.
Oh my God.
I think we're at a big monumental shift in the plot
Yes.
at this point, and I think we're good for a break.
We should take a break right
And
now.
we're good for a break.
See you in a bit.
So we'll be back. God.
Jesus.
We're almost done, cultists. We're almost done.
Are we?
I don't know.
Are we?
I don't know.
How's this?
All right.
You take that home with you. Then you drank your way out of a 2-bit security gig. Now this.
Look, man, I'm telling you what I saw, goddammit. I'm telling you I saw a 2-foot elf.
Yeah, packing AK-47s, riding pink elephants. Come on, man, I want the facts.
Don't give me that Joe Friday shit, man. I'm telling you this girl's life is in danger, goddammit.
Welcome back, cultists.
Welcome back.
We're still going. We can't stop, won't
The
stop.
drinks are refilled.
Yeah.
But I think I think we can do this in a final
I
stretch.
think we can.
We
yeah.
can do this.
We're there.
We're
We
gonna
got
do
it.
this
Yeah.
before we hit a wall. And before, like, the next... If we have to do another break, we're gonna come back. We're just gonna be...
Oh, it's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be really bad.
Really
This,
upset.
the Christmas shirts are gonna be off.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Yeah.
be just in the
Wife appreciators, just like, oh man.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So when we left, I think we had the scene with Mike and the other detective, and they we learned some things about Mike. He lost his job due to alcoholism because he couldn't say no. He couldn't shut off.
Yeah.
Given a 24-hour timeline,
Yeah.
and he is taking Kirsten home.
That's right. Yes. So he drives her home. We get a scene with the elf. He is found Amy's dead body, and it turns out that Amy is delicious. So this is another elf eating scene where he kind of
Nom nom nom.
yeah
nom,
he
nom.
raises her arm to he's just eating.
He doesn't close his mouth around.
Well,
the
he
fingers.
can't.
He's just like.
So yeah, and
That's
we
just it.
we arrive at Kirsten's house, and we kind of come in mid conversation between Mike and Kirsten and her mother, and she doesn't believe a word of any of this this fantastical story that her daughter and this weirdo has told her. So she thinks that there's something untoward going on, that maybe Kirsten's been involved in drugs, or that this weird man.
I can't
that's-
believe you were spending the night with a man twice your age or whatever it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So-
fair, I mean, he looks fucked up.
He does.
Like,
does.
He just this, but he
Hard
is
times.
At least everything he's saying is like, I'm trying to like give you your kid back after
Yeah.
a horrific episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like your kid's friend just got murdered.
Yeah.
Which she probably doesn't believe, because
No.
I think we skipped over it earlier when she came home after the Santa killing, and she was like, well, Santa got stabbed to death. And she's like, I don't
Yes.
think that's funny at all. I was like, oh, okay, my mom.
Yeah. So her mom goes to call the police, as a good Karen does when confronted with an issue, and Mike decides to leave, and he's like, wow, yeah, you're like, I didn't believe you when your mom said when you said your mom was this much of a bitch. But,
Yeah.
yeah. But her grandfather stops him on the way out. And Mike realizes that the grandfather kind of knows the score, like he knows more that's going on.
But does he? He says it.
He says it,
But
yeah.
like the grandfather just sort of rolls up on him. So he's just
Yeah.
a crazy old man in a wheelchair rolls up on him and it's just
Yeah.
like, tell me what you saw. And he's just like, all right, you seem to know more about what's going on
Yeah.
here than anyone else. It's like he just straight face says that to him. And I'm like, does he though? Like, are you sure? Like, is the instinct still kicking in for you there?
Mike worked on another level as a detective, and we poor schlubs can never understand what really goes into
Truly.
to being
and then
a master.
And he also sees
the
the
crate.
symbol
And
again
it's-
here. It's like kind of tucked by the
and
wall.
it's carved into like the wood frame of the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Mike gets the sense that there's more going on here. And but he does leave. Her grandfather, like Kirsten, goes to go upstairs, but her grandfather tells Kirsten to pack her things because he wants to get her out of here. and he needs to undo what he has done. And so this is a little bit.
There are many things I must teach you.
Yes.
Going where this is gonna like go teach. Yeah, I don't want that old guy to be alone with that little girl.
No. We follow Mike though with our scene, and he goes to see the author of the occult book that he's been reading at a university library. Mm-hmm. So he drives there. In the main foyer, he bumps into a girl, probably a student. She drops her load of books.
Oh yeah, this is where he's like, she tells him he can't smoke inside. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the first and only time that he will be called out for his smoking, which does not in any way discourage him from smoking.
No.
Yeah.
And then we find out like right into it, the professor is smoking.
Oh, he's got a big old pipe.
Yeah.
And he also gets hard on her. Like, he does the, like, hard niceness on her, where it's like she's mean and picks her books up, and he's trying to help her. And so as she's leaving, he's like, okay, well, Merry Christmas then.
Yeah.
Like, he tries to, like,
Very
give her
passive,
shit about
aggressive.
it. Like,
Merry
what?
Christmas to you, bitch.
Yeah. So she does give him directions to the library, and that she's like, it's that way. And he goes all passive aggressive on her. He bumps into a very eccentric professor who he shows the little sign to, because he shows him the excerpt from the book. And the professor immediately gives us just a huge exposition dump on the religious implications of this sign.
This guy is like a closeted gay who hates his family, because he's already like, if I go home, it's just the in-laws, but he's got some flair going on as he does it. Because he kind of gives the info dump, and he might have some more about it, but when he does. Actually, keep going through it, because it's when he gets to the picture of the elves I got a note on, but you got it.
So he starts off with kind of like, do you know your Bible? And Mike's just like, well, I had one once, kind of thing. But basically this all ties back to Noah's Ark, and that God was all fed up with humans, so he's just like, hey, I'm gonna have a flood, and it's gonna get rid of these guys, and we'll start over again. And one of the things that he tells Noah to save are the little creeping things, which some people believe are insects and that kind of thing. But no. This professor knows that they were in fact elves.
Noah fucked up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's so that this all ties back to biblical scripture, and that the nobody believes in elves anymore, except close to 50 years ago there was a group that really believed in elves, and it turns out it was the Nazis. The Nazis loved them some elves. And he has a great line here, the professor. If you could ignore their brutality, you'd have to say they were just a bunch of crackpots.
Yes, about the Nazis.
He
also
Nazis there.
Also, as he's like telling him about elves, and he's just like, because he keeps throughout this, Mike keeps being like, it was like 2 feet tall. It was like this, and he like has vague descriptions. And Buddy's just like, well, here's a picture of them. Just shows him a picture of 2 elves like raping a woman.
Yes.
I was like, oh yeah, here you go. Casually, I was like, what the fuck? Someone handed that to me. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's quite it is quite a, like, it's an illustration in a book, and we don't get any of the text, but that is pretty much it.
Yeah.
Graphic.
He does, however, point Mike in the direction of another professor who knows more about the connection between the Nazis and the elves. And Mike's just like, oh, where is this guy? And he's like, well, it's Christmas Eve, so he's probably at home with his family having dinner. And so Mike thanks him and leaves, drives off. And this is where he's picked up. There's a tail on him, and it's the third German. So there's 3 Germans in this movie. There's kind of the leader German, who is like the magician German that you've mentioned. There's a blonde German with a mullet, who doesn't get very much screen time. And then there's this German who has dark hair and a ponytail and like a crustachy thing going on.
Oh my god.
This is my Eurotrash German, as I called him throughout my notes.
The ravine of German.
That's right, yeah. But so he's tailed by him. Back at the house, we get a very short scene of Kirsten's grandfather rolling up the crystal with a little like crucifix stone type of thing, and Kirsten, she's in her room kind of getting ready, and her mother comes in the room and has to admit that she was telling the truth, that it was verified that in fact, yes, her friends are dead, and now I do believe you.
Oh my god.
And Kirsten goes to kind of hug her mom and being like, oh, it was so awful. I didn't know what to do type of thing. Her mom, of course, fucking hates her guts. So she doesn't go to like hug her back or anything like that. But Kirsten's like, oh, I wish Dad was around because, he would know what to do. And then her mother starts verbally abusing her again. And but the important thing is we make a very shocking revelation here. Because Kirsten's just like, oh, like, you hate me so much, and I wish Dad was around. And she's like, oh, you want to see your father, do you? Because he's in the study. And Kristen's like, well, no, Grandpa's in the study. And turns out that Grandpa is Daddy.
Yeah.
They Chinatowned us.
Yeah.
They did, yeah.
And then that just made me be like, okay, I can understand a little bit the way this woman is. And I was like, okay, now I feel bad for this poor woman.
Yeah. And this is the part where the movie literally gives us he is your father. Dun, dun, dun. Because it gives us that absolute scene, which is fantastic.
Because they also, at the end of that, cut over to the elf has been peering in on them, and because the elf's expression doesn't change, he's shocked as fuck.
He's like,
he always has the open mouth like expression because he, again, no points of articulation like an action figure, and so it's fantastic. And so this is about an hour into the movie. This movie's runtime is roughly an hour 30. In the last 3 to 5 minutes, we've had both Nazi occultism introduced and incest.
Yeah.
So the movie just gets us with the 1-2, like the jab, like we're dazed and confused after this. So.
Weather outside is bright.
But eugenics is so delightful.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
The white nationalist version of Let It Snow.
Yeah.
So basically, it just ran like, are they gonna get into like the Thule Society? So it's not a shocker that I like really weird, creepy things, and the occult and all that stuff. So basically, what the Germans had was something called the Thule Society, which is made up first in World War I, but it was reintroduced during World War II as a German or Nazi occult group, which they were sort of like really into like antiquities, like ancient, artifacts and all that stuff. So you just, and so I think a lot, because Adolf was so methed out of his skull that he just probably was like, duh, like, or I'm gonna get this. I don't know.
I think that you corrected yourself on that.
Here's that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna go get some antiquities, and it's gonna be really forever. So.
Bring me the cup of the carpenter.
You're the Holy Grail.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. We get back to Mike, who kind of forces his way into this other professor's home. Seems like a really wealthy guy, has a Spanish maid or Latino maid, and
definitely like the same Spanish maid from Unborn.
From Unborn, yeah.
Yeah.
He also tells her to call El La Policia.
Yes.
I don't think that
don't think
works in Spanish.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's throwing in there, but I feel it's not functional as a language.
No.
So he forces his way into this dinner, and cajoles the professor into telling him about the link between the Nazis and the elves.
In front of his family,
Yes.
including his 2 young daughters, who we cut to their reaction shots a couple times.
Yep.
But I think the thing that really set me off is that when he finally decides, once again, another effeminate closeted professor that he's visited in one night, goes, all right, there's 2 schools of thought. And I was like, is there? There's which schools?
Yeah.
2 of them?
2 of them.
I was shooketh. I made extensive notes about this. So let's get into it because I have a lot of notes about
please.
this. Will be the last time I like really slow the podcast down, but let's get into it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're starting
No,
with
I'm
me.
waiting. Please.
So the first school of thought was that they were using elves to be little assassination teams.
assassin teams.
Because they were also magic and they were small and
Can't
they
be
could
hurt.
get into places. They
Although-
can't be killed.
I've never seen this elf do any magic in this.
Yeah.
In
the
this
magic
movie.
is internal. The magic
Yeah.
is
I
like
see.
you see the elf and you're like, oh, that's magic.
So
I
do you
can't
think like they wanted the elves to try to assassinate Winston Churchill?
Oh,
or-
absolutely.
Definitely, yes.
Churchill,
Absolutely.
FDR, Stalin, all of them. Yeah.
But-
yeah, they all had to
But
dodge
yeah,
the elves.
he has sort of a short explanation about this that they are small, magic, can get into places and assassinate people. And then there's the second school of thought, which he's more of a fan of. He's
Yes.
like, now this is the one I like because it mixes science and magic.
Oh,
It's like the way he does it. So I don't remember exactly what he said, but I've decided to write it down in a cadence and in a way that I think everyone will understand.
Okay.
All right.
God creates man and elf. Man creates elf-human hybrid. Hybrid consummates with woman. Aryan super elf inherits the earth. And that's pretty much what he says, but in way more words. This
yes.
scene is
Yep.
at least 3 minutes long of him just babbling on about them doing genetic experiments, mixing this perfect Aryan
Yeah.
blood with this
Also,
elf.
like his kids are like not
vessel.
paying attention. They're
Yeah.
just like throwing food and shit like that.
Well, they start throwing food at each other, but then there is the shot of the both of them just like honed in on
Yeah.
like what is being
you
what
feel
he's
like
telling
the
this homeless
director's
Santa.
like, pay attention.
Yeah. But it is insanity.
Yeah.
But also, he's so invested for somebody who doesn't believe it. Because at the end of it, he's just like, but this is a fairy tale, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's clearly very into it. I really like your Jeff Goldblum Jurassic Park version of this because it breaks it down perfectly.
Pause
for us.
it, go back a couple
Yeah.
times, get it.
Yeah. So it's basically you've summed it up for us. There are 2 schools of thought. We will never get a true version, but it seems like it leans towards the second version as we go, right?
It is, yeah.
the-
Because that's why all the
That's what
Nazi
the
guys are
Germans
showing
believe,
up.
yeah.
They've been part of this creation. But I do love when Mike leaves and the girls are like, tell us more about the elves. And he's like, elves! And he still has to like dress them down.
Yeah. So yeah, Mike. After this revelation, Mike races to Kirsten's. He's tailed by the Eurotrash Nazi, and then we get a scene with Kirsten and her grandfather. So she basically confronts him about this. Hey, so Mom told me you're my dad.
Oh,
And
great.
he's like, yeah, he admits to the whole thing. He says he's not proud, which is probably the bare minimum that you
Yeah.
could say at that point, right?
Absolutely. I mean, my note was, you, Granddad.
Yeah.
But he says that he raped his daughter.
He does, yes.
But
she was drugged and
But
unconscious.
that they drugged her and she was unconscious, and he took no pleasure in it so
Yes.
that they could create her the perfect specimen.
Yes.
And then he hid her away.
Yes.
because he decided to go against the cult.
Yeah,
I'm like,
after the whole thing, like he kind of realized it
Yeah.
was fucked up in the afterwards.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he decided that, oh wait, no, this is horrific. Maybe I should not do any of this.
Yeah, that post-cum hits you real hard.
it
I
does,
guess,
right? Yeah,
Oh,
the post-nut
God.
clarity.
There it is. Yeah, I was trying to remember. I was like,
Yeah.
there's a phrase we use nowadays.
Yeah.
Post-nut clarity on this one must have been
Jesus Christ.
shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is going on, and you know, Kirsten's not really okay with any of this stuff.
You know what? I commend her because like I would be a little bit more freaked out.
Yeah, you'd be a little. The reaction would be
She's
a little.
treating it like someone told her that like Goonies is real and he was one of them. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, but are you sure, Grandpa?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think he's sure. Let's move on.
Yeah. While this is happening, we get cuts interspersed of her mother preparing to take a bath.
Oh shit! I forgot
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
this. I was like,
In the
why do I
weird-
have lipstick written down?
Yes, in
Oh.
the weirdest way possible. So so this is we kind of cut back and forth between these scenes. Kirsten's mother is preparing for bath. She's putting some lipstick on, but you feel like she's not all there. Is there something going on? She's putting lipstick on, but she's putting it like all over and then
I
on the
know.
It starts out normal,
Yeah.
and then it gets real heavy, and then there's just the huge chunks of lipstick
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
hanging off of her face, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you're just like, okay, I sympathize a little bit with this woman.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's very clearly traumatized.
Hard life.
Oh my god.
Back to Kirsten here, we cut back where she's just like, holy fuck, this is so fucked up. I hate everything about this. And he's just like, no, like, you don't get it. You're beautiful and you're perfect. And I love you.
I thought that was like the grandpa coming on to
I mean,
Kirsty.
who
So I
can
was
tell
like-
with this family?
Yeah.
Because I
It
was
sorta
like,
is,
he's
but then
fucked up enough to, rape his own daughter,
Mm.
but he's like,
Well, he's sort of still approaching it the way the other Nazis are. That she is,
She's the chosen one.
She's
She's
the
perfect,
chosen
yeah.
one. So he's still sort of treating it that way.
Yeah.
and it's weird and gross and stuff. So
You
it's
get
like
that
going in
even though
that
he's
route.
not comfortable with what the other Nazis are doing, there's still that side of him that's just like, no, you are perfect. I made you perfect. So
Which is crazy
Yes.
that like through pure blood Aryan ancestry they had to incest a little bit to
I'm-
fudge the numbers.
I'm
Like,
sure you
that's
could.
okay.
I'm sure you could have went to Germany and found like a nice like
Yes.
blue-eyed.
Blonde-haired girl frolicking through some
Yeah.
tulips or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Or go to fucking Scandinavia. Go to Sweden.
yeah.
yeah.
So she's she's obviously not comfortable with this. She goes to leave. We get a couple more shots of the mother in the bath, and then she heads upstairs to her room, and she has kind of like this quick moment with her brother who is not involved in the plot at all.
No.
So he's just there. He's got his little RC car, and he's just like, "Do you think we'll get many presents this year? The tree look like there doesn't seem to be many under the tree and stuff." And she's just like kind of holding him, being like,
Yeah.
"Everything is awful,
Yeah,
but like, please keep your innocence."
Just like grabs onto him.
Yeah.
It's like everything will be okay,
Yeah.
brother, uncle.
Brother, uncle. Ugh.
It's okay, Brunkle. We'll be okay.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be like what would that be?
I don't know how that all works.
I don't
I'm
know.
not sure.
I think he's an uncle brother.
He might be an uncle brother. Yeah, I'm not 100% because he is like her mother's son. No, well, he's a sibling, but then is he also?
Yeah, because
It'd be like- or
he
would
would
it be
be
like brother,
he would
nephew?
he would
Yeah.
it would be the same as her because she's technically like her own niece
Wait,
as well.
this
Yeah.
is a good
So
question
He's an uncle brother.
because
He's
Okay.
both. He's both.
No, I would feel-
but
he-
who's the brother's father?
I don't
Is
know.
it-
I'm assuming it's the grandpa.
We don't know, right?
So that to me sounds like he's
could
an
be the
uncle
grandpa,
brother.
yeah.
He's a brunkle.
Oh,
Bronco
man.
full-
The
Bronco
questions.
piece.
Straight brunkling.
Yeah.
Every
Jesus.
day I'm brunkling.
The
Oh no.
the theme song for
First
Miss
3-hour episode. That's how long it took to get to Brooklyn.
Every Day on Brooklyn.
We leave the incest household for a little while here.
Thank God.
Thank God, because we need to have a car chase, and so this is Mike and the ponytail Eurotrash Nazi. He realizes being tailed. There's a big car chase scene here.
And they clearly didn't have permits to film on the road.
No.
Because they're speeding up the footage. Everyone's driving like 30.
Yeah.
And they're speeding it up. And it's always kind of filmed, it seems like, from the passenger side of another car. Like someone's leaning out. You always kind of get a little bit of a car in the frame. Because they're just filming from the other lane side of a road.
Yeah. The car chase ends with the Nazi in his car kind of driving off the road. Car, of course, does the movie car thing where it catches fire and everything.
What? Oh, yeah.
The Nazi and Mike have this kind of confrontation.
Oh, okay, that is what it was.
Yeah.
They put a bomb in his car.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
right,
he
yes, sorry, I
dropped
forgot
the
that.
lighter,
Yes, yeah.
trying to find the lighter to light the smoke.
Yeah.
So smoking saves lives
Saves
in
lives.
this movie. And when he's looking for the lighter, he finds the bomb, and that's why he bails out of the car, and
Yes.
that's why the car explodes. Yeah, there is
Right,
a legit
yes,
bomb.
sorry,
in
I
there.
missed that. Yeah. So there's a legit bomb. Has a confrontation with the Nazi by the flaming car. Beats him up. But the Nazi, he's going to interrogate him, but the Nazi has a cyanide capsule or something that he bites down on, and he starts foaming from the mouth, and he dies before Mike can really get anything from him. We cut back to Psycho Mom in the bath, but then we realize that the elf is in the house, and he's kind of messing around by the Christmas tree. And he breaks an ornament, which Willie and Kirsten hear upstairs. During this time, Mike is driving. He's racing to get to Kirsten and her to save her. And then we get the grandfather who calls from Kirsten, who is kind of, she's not barricaded herself in a room, but she's kind of locked herself in the room, and she's trying to process all of this trauma that has happened in the last hour or so. And this is where Kirsten's mom finally receives her comeuppance for all of her sins in this movie, because we cut back to her. The elf manages to sneak into the bathroom, and her mom's been listening to the radio, just doing some classic royalty-free Christmas music. I think she just kind of opens her eyes to see the elf there with the radio, and he chucks it in the bathroom, which electrocutes her.
Yeah, I wrote down Bolt and Jolt. I don't remember why.
I don't know why.
There was a reason. Well, maybe we'll figure that out in a cult meeting. But there was a reason I wrote Bolt and Jolt.
It is a very long death scene with her
It goes
writhing
on
in the
for a
bathroom.
while,
Yeah. Not quite like a full frontal, because I think it's partially like a bubble bath. But we she's
we do get some mom titties.
We do get some mom titties. Yeah. The lights go out, of course, because it shorts the fuse box. Just as Mike is getting up to the house, and he just kind of lets himself in. He goes up, finds the kids. They find the mother in the bathroom, but Mike is the only one that looks in. And
your mom's fine.
Your
mom's fine. We gotta go though.
I think she's gonna be okay.
We also get a flashlight scene straight out of Unborn, where you're just I can see the entire bathroom, but we see the flashlight trace its way down, and we're just yep, you'll find her just a little bit down.
Yep.
Time is a flat circle, my friend.
Time is a flat circle, But we get Mike reassures the kids, oh no, she's fine. But we also see on the bathtub, we see the little elf symbol traced in blood again, which is his calling card if he was a Batman villain.
Yeah. Or the Riddler.
Yeah, or the Riddler, yeah. It's very close, yeah. They all go downstairs where the grandfather is, and he stops them and he's like, "Oh no, you need to know how to destroy the elf. It's coming." And so Mike's just like, "Oh, you sick bastard," type of thing, right? But then they do go into the study with him, and Mike asks him about the insignia. Because he's taken a little ring from the dead Nazi, and he's like, "Do you recognize this?" And apparently, the little question mark with the line through it was the original Nazi Party insignia.
Ah,
Yeah.
Well, because they take the Art Deco boobs picture from the
Yes.
beginning of the movie, and they do a little Nazi boobs connect the dots.
I had the same note. It was connect the dots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because her grandfather takes this, and it's the picture is of a quite a buxom woman. Who,
Yeah, it's like from Heavy Metal. is
Yeah,
what it looks
exactly.
like.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
why I
But
tried
she's
to
topless,
convey
yeah.
earlier.
it's
yeah.
like
And it's
if
got the
like
four-
you peer into Timothy McVeigh's notebook, he drew like a perfect far right Nazi woman. This is the perfect woman.
It's not quite the Dennis from Always Sunny with the tits that go into
tits
here,
all
but
the
it's
way,
like
yeah.
she's well endowed.
The grandpa also in this point mentions that the elves are going to be the Fourth Reich.
Oh yes, there's that thrown in for us. Yeah. Oh yeah, the movie comes thick and fast at this point with the thing. But basically he takes the sketchbook and he just connects the bars that she's drawn over this woman's tits into little swastikas. And
Which I think you
Swastikas?
The swastika?
Yeah, swastika.
Swastika.
Swastika. Am I not saying it right?
Swastika.
Sounds like you're saying it
Swastika.
with two E's.
Swastika. You're saying it.
Swastika. We can't say it this much for YouTube.
Yeah, we
No.
gotta be done. Yeah, we gotta,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
done. We're
We gotta
done.
stop saying it.
We're so close. This is it. This is all I've got. There's no more pages of notes.
All right.
We're almost there.
Let's go.
All right. Yeah, so we get the little connect the dot thing, and everyone's like, "Oh my goodness, it's all shocking." And Mike is really not okay with this storyline at this point. He keeps going on at the grandfather, but the grandfather tells them that apparently the offspring of the elf and Kristen, who they are fated to mate at midnight on Christmas Eve, not only will be the master race, but will also be the Antichrist. Just to give us some more nonsense thrown in here. But fortunately, the crystal that her and her grandfather have all been like touching up on all throughout the movie is an elf stone. And somehow this is going to all tie together.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
he's really on about how just like, no, it will come from within you. It's
Yeah.
like, no, the Nazi will come from within
you. Yeah.
Your inner Nazi will come out and defeat the elf.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Channel your
Don't
Aryan
know
perfection.
like if this movie is mistakenly like very Nazi.
Like
Right.
pro-Nazi.
Not I don't want to say pro-Nazi, but like there's like an accidental Nazi underlying to it.
Accidental Nazi.
At the very least, it's lukewarm on Nazis.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah. It doesn't want to close the door entirely
No,
on the subject.
It's unlock the door.
Yeah. But then they're kind of interrupted by I don't know if it's the lead German or the mullet German that comes in with the camera. That is just like he's so excited. He's like he's going
It's
to
not the lead guy.
No, it's
one of
the-
the other guys
the
because I
mullet guy,
refer
yeah.
to him as the Nazi documentarian.
Yes,
That's what I put
yeah.
here.
And he comes in with a film camera, and he's just like, "Oh, and here is un little boy, little Willy, and here is the chosen one."
He says, "Un bright sparkle of divinity."
Oh yes, that's it. Yeah.
Because I made sure I wrote that shit down.
And if anyone of German descent is watching this video, please know that this is the movie doing this, not us.
No.
Not us. Yeah, we think you're great.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah. So he comes in and everything, and there's he gets jumped by Mike, who is there, and maybe he should have asked some more questions before he came in filming, like, who is this homeless Santa Claus? But they get into a fight. The grandpa gets his Luger, he gets his pistol again, and holds it on him. The mullet Nazi kind of comes at him again, but he shoots him twice. And but before that Nazi goes down, he does strip the gun from a grandpa and gives it to the lead Nazi, the magician Nazi. And who does shoot the grandfather, but then gets jumped by Mike. So yeah. While this is all happening, while they're kind of fighting, Kristen and Willie get away, and they flee the house. Mike fights the lead Nazi, who knocks him down and I think shoots him. That's right. Like he shoots him, right?
So.
I think so.
I
Because Mike is just kind of down for the rest of the movie. So
I think
he must be.
I think
yeah,
he gets.
because
I think he does get shot.
We do get another Mike scene, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah.
But like he seems to be incapacitated.
Yes, he is. In some way, he is incapacitated. And so Kristen and the brother run into the woods, the original woods, and the Nazi, the leader Nazi, magician Nazi follows. He gives chase.
Yes, I'm looking at my notes now. We did have another "Now that hell is full" live. He did say it again. I have shoots him ? Which is true because he's definitely incapacitated. And then we also have a spectacular Jeep crash.
Yes, he
That's
crashes
right.
the Jeep on his own.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just apropos of nothing. The Nazi is just like, oh, actually, I don't know how to drive this, and he flips it. He completely flips the Jeep, but he is unharmed, and he gets out of it to give chase again to Kristen and Willie. So Kristen, they're wandering through the forest. She seems to have some idea where to go. She's thinking in her head. She's like, oh, Grandpa told me that I would know what to do, type of thing. So they find their way back to the spot in the beginning of the movie where she cut herself doing her little witchy ritual, and so they come back there. So they're waiting. This is the hole where the elf came out of, and she realizes that her cut has opened up again. Again, some weird magic shit that will not be explained. And the lead Nazi comes. He kind of surprises them, and she turns, but then she trips over the elf hole, and I think she either sprains or breaks her ankle or something. She gets her ankle stuck in the hole.
The Gaia gash?
The Gaia gash, she gets it stuck right in there.
The elf hole?
Yeah, in the elf hole. And the Nazi's like, no, don't worry. Like, I don't want to hurt you. I love you. You are everything. Like, he's just like, he's laying it on here.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And then, oh, take us away.
Okay.
What happens next?
Well, the lead Nazi, he's encroaching on her space because he's actually trying to help her get her foot unstuck, and he's trying so hard to win her over, and then he gets shot. He gets shot by the elf, who is standing there in all of his puppet glory.
It was so great.
With the gun. In that same expression he's had throughout the movie.
Just
yeah.
but it was the fucking twist of the century.
It really was.
Was just like him getting fucking gunned down by the elf, just hold it there like a fucking like weird side road side of the road fucking entertainment product thing.
Yeah. Honestly, that singular moment where you see the elf holding the gun out at his side.
God.
Honestly, I was transported back to the movie Gladiator. That elf was Russell Crowe being, "Are you not entertained?" And I was like, "Fuck yes, I am entertained."
It had that. It had
was so good.
It had a baby from Unborn bringing up the fucking knitting needle. It had
So
a lot.
good.
It had a lot of things throughout our films and film in general.
Yeah.
Was there? It was the twist of the century.
Beautiful. Chef's kiss.
Excuse when I first put on this movie, I thought I was watching something like Gremlins. I wasn't expecting like a plot of like elves using the gun and like incest and Nazis.
Yeah, it gets you. I mean, it's really all the themes of Christmas, quite frankly.
Exactly.
So, yeah, her brother Willie is trying to get her out of the hole, her leg out of the hole here after the elf shoots the Nazi. But she tells him don't worry, that the elf won't hurt her, but go get the crystal, the stone from the study. So she tells him to run back, and he does that. And then we get another elf POV, but this one is kind of like second person behind the elf's head. And we'll get a couple of those as the movie reaches its end here.
And it's sort of like the elf is trying to like woo her.
He definitely is, yeah.
Meanwhile, we also get way too many shots of this kid running to get the crystal.
Oh,
this
so
kid
many.
retrieves the crystal in real time.
Yes.
It's like 5 minutes of this kid running away and running back.
So the elf approaches her as she kind of like her foot was never really stuck because this hole is huge. Mm-hmm. So she kind of wriggles back to the tree because her foot is injured in some way. So she wriggles back, and so the elf like walks up to her, and then he starts getting handsy. He's kind of like caressing her, but where he's a puppet and has no manual dexterity, he kind of just like paws at her.
Yeah. And this was the part where I felt like it seemed like this part of the back of the hand seemed like it was really.
Yeah. So it's just basically,
it seemed like a real hand.
Imagine.
Yeah, this is.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's truly it. Yes,
He's
that's,
just like.
Yeah. He's still good.
But shooketh.
But
yeah.
It was very much that.
Yeah. The elf does notice at one point a little bug on the ground, like a little like pill bug or centipede or something.
Much like with the frog, gets very distracted.
Very distracted. But he does very sweetly. He offers it to Kirsten as in case she would like a bug, in case she's peckish.
Elf.
Yeah, he's a sweet boy. And then Mike. So we go back to the house. The brother gets there, and Mike kind of like rears up for a second from his place on the floor, and he's just like,
"Your sister wants this crystal.
Yes.
You should take it with you."
Yeah, that's right,
or something. I don't know.
And then we get a shot of the elf. He's getting really handsy though, because he's kind of like up by like her collarbone there, and he's giving her a paw. Yeah. Willie runs back. We get so many shots of Willie running back. It's ridiculous.
It's all intercut with like this elf thinking that he went through the whole like pickup artist like school.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. He's doing pickup artist
he
school
has,
shit.
Like the hat with like the fedora with like the feather on it.
Well, he's filled in the checklist. Now she is obligated to sleep.
Yeah,
with him.
Exactly.
He's just like,
he held the door open for her.
negging her.
Yeah.
Just like so you hang out in the
like,
woods.
You're like
huh?
a 7 compared to like all the other 10s that I date.
Yeah.
But you're still hot in your own sort of way.
Yeah.
Blue eyes.
Yeah.
All right.
We get a lot more of the over the shoulder elf shot. So we've switched from the POV to like gazing over the elf's shoulder as he kind of caresses Kirsten. Willie brings back the crystal though. He gets there, and Kirsten crawls. She takes it. She crawls back to the elf hole while the elf and Willie both kind of just watch without doing anything. She knows in her mind because she sees images of her drawing that she made, the
Art Deco
tits,
boobs.
Art Deco boobs,
Heavy metal woman.
Yeah, and so she knows what to do
Reich
here,
tits.
which involves two-handed taking the elf stone and just like stabbing the elf hole with it, which causes an explosion.
Yeah.
Which then causes the elf to die and melt. And the camera goes full Vaseline mode and smoke and dry ice as the elf melts and Kirsten crawls. And if that didn't make any sense to you, audience, I'm sorry. That's exactly what happened. I literally cannot describe it in any way. This is what the notes
We're just
say.
as in the dark as you guys are.
Yeah.
It's totally
And then
fine.
there's kind of like soft music playing,
Yes.
and it starts snowing.
It starts snowing. It's a Christmas miracle.
It's snowing.
Yeah. Yeah. Willie's just like, so everyone in our family is dead. Are we going to be okay? And we're just in the woods here. And she's like, no. It's snowing.
Yeah,
And that's-
we don't have any other family members, so I think this is like the last time we're gonna see each other. Before
very clearly.
Before
You're
gonna
gonna get
split
put
up
in
into
foster
the
care. I'm probably gonna be emancipated.
Working at another mall.
Yeah, working at a mall
Yeah.
somewhere in rural.
Oh god damn it! Robots took over this mall. Fuck! I got
Yeah.
no luck.
She really doesn't.
No.
So yeah, hooray, happy endings. We cut to the credits here, and the credits have a fetus.
So the credits, yeah, there's like a superimposed fetus.
And then I was like,
the credits.
wait. Does this mean we were too late? Did the elf and Kirsten consummate their unholy union? Like while we were following
Yeah.
Billy?
Yeah.
I don't
It was
know.
like ET style. They just had
Yeah.
to like touch fingers and like
Yeah.
breed. Like
Yeah,
you know.
we don't know how elves breed. We don't know. I honestly assumed
But-
it was the normal way, but we don't know.
But it ends on weird sad synth song
Yeah.
and fetal like heartbeats and a picture.
Yeah.
Forever, the fetus is there for a lot of the credits.
It's a
I
lot of
left
the credits, yeah.
going.
I fast forwarded through the credits just to see how long the fetus stuck around, and it was longer than I thought.
Oh my god.
That was Elves.
1989 AIP.
Yep.
Yep.
What did final thoughts? What did you guys think of it?
Of the year.
Final thoughts of the year. Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the last episode that we're doing for the year. That we'll put out audio, video, and we will be back. Obviously, you know about the next episode already. We weren't totally sure what was going to happen. So way will be in the new year, and you will.
No holds barred. No holds barred.
Yeah, no holds barred will be first.
It's gonna be the first thing that comes out.
I'll bleep myself.
Okay,
here.
there we
so
go.
I'll get to bleep myself here. So there we go. So good. All right. So no holds barred. New year.
Yeah.
I'll bleep that other movie so y'all don't know.
Yeah.
But we're gonna be a minute. But yes, last episode of the year. What did you guys think of the last movie of the year?
You know what? It started out as one of our movies, and then it veered so much more into being a video cult movie. Right? Once you hit that hour mark and they're just like Nazis, incest, you're just like, okay,
Yeah.
fucking buckle up, I guess. we're in it to win it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed this movie a lot. I enjoy any movie that has practical monsters effects in it. And this one is so lazily done, but it's still really it captured my heart because of that, I think. Is it a Christmas classic? No. No, you could be very happily, in the Christmas spirit without watching this movie. Is it fun? It's fun.
Yeah.
It's silly. It's ridiculous. You'll have an absolute blast. There's a lot of very 80s things about this movie, I think. And it's just so fucking weird. I don't really have anything other than to say, like, this movie is so fucking weird. Watch it. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. It's what, like 86 minutes? We've spent way more. We've spent 3 hours talking about this 86-minute movie. Watch the goddamn movie.
Yeah.
You go. What do you got?
Like I said before, like this completely took, because I thought it was just gonna be like a little schlocky like monster movie. Like I was expecting more elves.
We all did.
Yeah.
Everyone expected more elves.
I've
If you
seen
put
this
the
before,
plural
and I
in the
expected
movie,
more elves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was expecting more elves. But then all I got was Nazis and incest.
The old switcheroo.
The old switcheroo. But yeah, it's like Nathan said, like it's not exactly a Christmas classic. It's fun as fuck though. But yeah.
Yeah, I had a great time watching it, and it was so funny that the times where there was action, of which there's kind of really only two. So the shootout at the mall, and sort of like as we're getting to the ending, this movie excels when two characters have to talk to each other, and sometimes when one character talks to themselves. It excels in its dialogue and how insane it all is.
And everything about it is just absolutely bonkers. The editing is bonkers, as we said, going from the cat being buried to a Malta Santa doing coke to, an elf stabbing a guy in the balls to wearing a Christmas hat and freaking somebody out. It's just constant fuckery. It's insanity. It should be watched. You should absolutely check it out. Don't deny yourself. It's worth it. I think it's worth it, and it's so short.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like so many things we do on this show, it's so tremendously nonsensical that when you're talking about it, you have to stop and be like, oh, yeah, that did happen.
Yeah.
That did actually happen. We got to the part where she's part of a Nazi experiment to create the master race.
Yeah.
In this Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that. That's an actual scene. It's so fun. It's just so fun.
It definitely made more sense than things, though, I'd have to say.
Everything does.
Yeah.
Everything
yeah,
does.
literally
The dreams I have at night that just cut from one weird ass thing to another make more sense than things.
Yeah.
I guess to end this off, guys, I just want to say, if this is your first episode of the
God bless you.
video call, God bless you. We don't usually go this long. This was an alcohol-fueled Christmas
this
rampage.
Is the really first episode that we all drink.
Yeah.
I love how you look at me and I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So you can see why we don't do this regularly.
Yeah.
If it's your first episode, I hope you enjoyed it. This is a tremendous movie. We always say, please watch the movies. They're all, with maybe the exception of things, absolutely worth watching. If you've watched all of them or listened to all of them, you absolute psychopath. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We will be back in the new year with a crop of weird and wonderful films for you to enjoy.
Yeah.
And we will be here breaking them down and losing our sanity ever so much more each time.
Yeah.
But I hope you have a tremendously happy holidays, and we will see you in the New Year's.
Yeah. We're
See you in the New Year's.
see you in the New Year's.
But also, what does it say about us? Because we usually like the movie.
We do usually
So-
like the movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, bye.
Yeah. Happy Christmas.
See
Happy
you in the new
Hanukkah.
year.
Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Scientology holiday. Happy Xeno Day. I don't know.
Zeno.
Happy holidays.
See you in the new year, everybody.